Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome on one and all, and just a lot to cover. We got Greenland, okay? We're going to cover that today. President Trump just signed the treaty with the Board of Peace, so now that's a done deal. And you know, this Davos event is unlike any of these previous Davos events because usually they get together, they talk about nonsense. What President Trump has done, he flew to Davos, he took charge, he took over, and he has a new title this morning. Do you know what it is? What do you think it is? I'm giving the president a new title this morning. He's President of the United States, no doubt about that. But President Trump is also officially now the president of the world. What do you think about that? The president of the world, Donald Trump. And the world is so much safer, because of President Trump. You look at what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is barely hanging in there, right? They're on the verge of defeat. But Russia's been hit pretty hard, too. It may be a big country land-wise, but they're not doing well. And they've taken heavy losses as well. And they're having a lot of economic problems in Russia. But if Donald Trump had not been elected to this second and non-consecutive term, World War III very well may have been going on right now as we speak. And President Trump has stopped that. He's got Greenland. He's got the Board of Peace all together. And if you notice, he went over there and just it seemed like in a few minutes, he had everything under control, got Greenland settled, got the agreement on a dime, and now the Board of Peace. And, this Board of Peace is so important because for many reasons, not just for the Israeli Gaza in the Middle East as a whole. The Board of Peace is the beginning of a new era of American leadership in this world. And what a lot of it is all about is bypassing the very destructive, counterproductive United Nations, which is a useless organization, and also bypassing Europe. And Trump gave a big warning to Europe about how their uncontrolled immigration and migration has completely wiped out their civilization, that they're barely hanging in there. And Trump is pretty much done with Europe because they've done themselves in. They've betrayed themselves, Europe. And their countries and their culture is all but wiped out at this point. And President Trump understands that. And you look at the way that he's handled this Board of Peace, Gaza, Israel, all these issues involving the Middle East. President Trump is the first president to bring peace in the Middle East. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be skirmishes and events from time to time. I mean, you've got radical people over there, so there's always going to be problems. I've got a sneeze coming on. Oh. Must be some liberals on hold. I'm allergic to liberals. He's handling the Middle East peace process in a way that no one has handled it before. And other presidents have had Middle Eastern summits and meetings. Sometimes they're at the White House. Sometimes they're here. Sometimes they're there. But President Trump is the first president of the United States to handle the Middle East in a way where we can have a lasting peace. And I will be taking calls. The radio show will be starting shortly, and I'm going to open up and talk about everything that's going on, and then we will open up the phones. But a lot of history has been made in Davos, and it's still happening because Davos is not over. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we've got just over a minute until the radio show begins. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat. So you can call in and hang in there. I'll get to the calls in a little bit. Our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We're a little less than a minute away from the radio show starting, so when the radio show opens up, I'm going to recap everything that's going on, talk about the big things that's happening, and then we'll go to the phone. So the phone lines are open. Yeah, I just got this shirt, this hoodie I'm wearing. Just got this in the mail. I got this from Nick Shirley himself. Just came yesterday, and I got to tell you, it's pretty high quality. Yes. Oh, I love this one. I'll wear this at night on the cruise. All right, stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Holy smokes, President Trump has just made so much history in the last less than 24 hours over there in Switzerland at Davos. And what has happened in Davos is amazing. Spoiler alert, we got Greenland. President Trump got Greenland, okay? We'll talk about that as the show goes on. He got everything he wanted from Greenland, and he got Greenland in like just a few minutes. He was over there in Davos, and a few minutes later, next thing you know, he's got a deal for Greenland. This is amazing. And he just signed the Board of Peace agreement just a few minutes ago. So much history has happened. And, you know, Davos, what they used to do in Davos is they'd go over there and they would discuss how they were going to rip the United States off and enrich themselves. And they would talk about climate change, global warming, and windmills and solar panels and such. And Davos, President Trump went over there and took complete charge of everything and has, well, he has a new position. He has a new position, a new title. President Trump is not just the President of the United States. What happened this morning in Davos, Switzerland, President Trump became the President of the world, is what just happened. He became the President of the world. And we did get Greenland. We're going to go through all this on the program today and take your calls. This is a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be an American. And, you know, what President Trump has done is beyond amazing. It is a miracle. And you know what? All of you MAGA people out there, the whole MAGA group in this country, we're responsible for all this, all these great things. You know, when President Trump came home to Mar-a-Lago on Inauguration Day for the Otto Penn and Willie Brown's girlfriend's inauguration, I told you guys the next day on the air, he's going to get reelected. And it's going to be, his second term will be a non-consecutive term. A lot of you laughed at me. You thought I was nuts. And I told you guys then, I said when he comes in to his second term, he's going to come in with a mandate and he's going to get everything done and change the world. We had Dick Morris on the show, who's a senior advisor to President Trump during his re-election campaign. And I told that to Dick Morris. And he said, you're right, Brian. He's going to come in with a mandate. And look what's happened. And his mandate extends beyond just the United States. The mandate that President Trump has extended globally. And let me tell you, this liberal fantasy, and well, I don't know if it was a fantasy. It was a dream, but something they were making a reality. China was taking over the world. Not through technology or military means, through buying off corrupt American politicians and other politicians around the world. And with President Trump getting Greenland for us, that's right, it's happened. And we're going to get more details on this probably during this visit in Davos because things are coming out, but over the next days and weeks, we'll get a lot more. The NATO is out of date. All right? You know, NATO, everyone makes a big deal about NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO was set up when Truman was president and Eisenhower was still a general. He was the first general in charge of NATO. And it was about stopping the Soviet Union because the Iron Curtain had begun. They had, we had East Berlin, we had East Germany, they take Czechoslovakia, they take all these countries. We had this Iron Curtain, and NATO was there to stop further Soviet advancement in Europe. Well, that's not a threat anymore. And I know you're saying Ukraine. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. That's a civil war. It's a little different. If Trump didn't come back, they may have been on the move again. But Russia's not advancing through Europe. I'm sorry to tell you. They might get Ukraine in the end. Who knows? But it's not going to go beyond that. The real threat from Russia isn't on mainland Europe. It's in the Arctic. And the Russians are so embedded throughout the Arctic. We've got next to nothing. And the new era of defense is the Arctic. And if you and President Trump getting Greenland is saving the world. If you look at the Earth from above the North Pole and look down, now that we have Greenland and we have Alaska, we have the Russians on both flanks, right? We have a massive military presence in Alaska. We've got the Russians there. Now with what's going to happen in Greenland, now that we've gotten Greenland, we're right there on the other side. And our technology is about 30 years ahead of what they have militarily. They're a third world country. These rare earth minerals in Greenland that we are going to be in control of. You know, President Trump, the reason he wanted Greenland and the reason he got Greenland were many. Not just the Russians, but also China. About half of these rare earth minerals that are needed for all these modern electronics and spaceships and everything else, about half of them come from China. Because the ones in Greenland haven't been exploited. So it's also about taking down China. Russia militarily and their dominance in the Arctic region, which they can reach North America with missiles in minutes with having Arctic dominance. But those rare earth minerals, he's isolating China. China is so much less important today than it was a year ago. China was on the rise. Now they're on the decline. Their power is fading away. It is. And, you know, China's power, it wasn't their military around the world. It was that they would spend whatever amount of money they had to spend to buy off countries and leaders. And they've been doing it throughout the Americas, in the Caribbean, in South America, Central America, Europe, even in this country. Remember Biden, right? Hunter Biden got that diamond from that Chinese guy. Remember Hunter went over there with John Kerry's, was it his stepson, and was working out deals. The Chinese were buying off leaders of major countries like the United States, like Joe Biden and others. Those days are over. Russia's been put in place with this Greenland acquisition that President Trump made. China is severely weakened. You know, President Trump has ended so much of the green agenda of windmills. Yesterday in his speech in Davos, President Trump, he was talking about windmills, and he says they make the windmills in China, but there's no windmill farms in China, right? And China is the one that's been buying off officials in all the Western countries, including the United States and throughout Europe and Canada, everywhere, moving them towards windmills and solar and electric because they don't have oil, but they have access to the largest lithium deposits in the world because Biden gave them to China and Afghanistan. Trump got us off that. Now he's ridding us of the monopoly they have on rare earth minerals with the acquisition of Greenland. Also, he's moving manufacturing back to this country. So he's, taking that away from China. China is pretty much going out of business, as is Russia, all because of Trump, who is now the president of the world, no doubt about it. All right. Now, I would like to take your calls on all of this. So much is going on. I've got some audio and things I'm going to play throughout the show. You're welcome to call in. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Those of you on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones after the break. 888-465-2631. It is tax time, and you want to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax to handle your taxes. He's amazing. I met with him last week, and I was just blown away at his knowledge of the tax code. Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States, with your federal taxes, your state taxes, your local taxes, your payroll taxes, any type of tax. He can help you no matter where you are in the United States. He's based here in South Florida, and boy, oh boy, is he great. I'm telling you, he is very good. He is a top man in the industry. Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He's going to make sure that you get all the deductions that you're entitled to under the new tax code, and that you get the largest tax return that you are entitled to. And with Jamie Levac, you can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac. You can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. We'll be right back. And here's the president just a few minutes ago.
And now to bring the Board of Peace into full force, I ask Sheikh Isa of Bahrain and Foreign Minister Barita of Morocco to join me in signing and ratifying the Board of Peace Charter. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this peace charter is spectacular. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the calls after the break. I mean, he has just put together this amazing group of people and this alliance that no one thought was possible. You know, I mean, some of these countries that he's bringing together as friends of ours, like Syria, who would have thought that we would be working with Syria, the United States? Syria has been like an enemy of ours, second in that region only to Iran. And now President Trump has made them our friend. I'll take the calls when we get back from the break. We're in radio station break right now. And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Let me see here. Oh, here's Steve Witkoff.
I remember when the president asked Jared, I, and of course our great Secretary of State, to work on something that the world thought was impossible and unattainable. But the president, on this peace deal for Gaza, as on all other deals we work on his behalf, said we had to try. And of course we were inspired by that. We have achieved a peace deal in Gaza. We have brought the hostages home. That's right. All of the bodies except for one, and we will bring that body home too. And maybe most importantly, we have created a sense of hope for what the future can bring in Gaza and all other places where the Board of Peace will operate. And I am so honored, Mr. President, to have worked on this on your behalf. I'd like to...
Yeah, I mean, this is something, isn't it? Oh, man. Living history. President Trump back for a second term. I still can't get used to it. It's such a miracle. Isn't it exciting that he's back for a second term? Even though it's been just over a year now, a year and a couple days, it's still hard to believe. All right, stand by. We'll be back in seconds. Stand by. 15 seconds. All right, we're back. It is Thursday already. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, let's take some of these calls. A day of celebration. Am I the only one that still, it's like you get goosebumps that President Trump is back as president again in this non-consecutive term? It's a miracle, you know. And this period we are in right now is such a miraculous period of peace and success and growth. It's just at a great time, a great and amazing time for the whole planet. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Doc from Texas. Good morning, Brian.
Oh, hey, Doc from Texas. Peace on earth.
Hi,
you must be very upset.
No, I'm not. I'm good this morning, bro. I woke up. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Hey,
what I'm calling you about this morning is, well, Brian, Okay, it's what is 6? What time is it over there?
It is 6:18 in the morning. And your
5:18 over here where I'm at.
is working hard saving the world in Davos, Switzerland right now.
Brian, that's what I'm calling you about this morning. What plan does he have?
In regards to what? That's very vague. He's got lots of plans on lots of things.
Greenland. What's the plan?
We got Greenland.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. Haven't you watched the news?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Brian, I'm watching you. I just got to watching Morning Joe and all that. I
Oh,
watch
Morning
Fox News.
Joe.
I watch everything.
You know, that's just filler
watch Fox News,
programming
too.
when I'm on. Yeah, well, you're
I
not
watch
going to hear.
Fox- I
You're
watch
not
Fox
going to
News,
hear.
too.
You're not going to hear the truth from liberal hacks.
I watch Fox News too this morning.
And we got Greenland.
No, we didn't. Tell me what's the plan, Brian?
The plan is to have
Wait.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
We're talking about the Greenland plan. President Trump has secured a deal that gives the United States huge portions of Greenland as U.S. territory. So the United States will extend to Greenland. We're going to.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. It's
No,
all
he-
over the news,
no,
man.
He didn't. No, he didn't, Brian.
Listen.
If
I'm not going to
watching
talk
the
to
same
you.
news you watch.
If you're in denial, and are you going to say it? No, he didn't. I'm going to let you go. I mean, that's not a conversation. That's just you trying to convince yourself of something.
You won't have a conversation with
What
me.
kind of conversation is it when you are
Brian,
denying the truth?
I'm asking you what's the deal? Everybody is saying
I'm trying
there
to
is no
tell
deal.
you, but when I tell
know,
you,
Brian,
you say, no, he didn't.
What I'm telling you, Brian, is you're saying one thing, and I'm watching the professionals saying another thing.
Oh, I'm not a professional.
Brian, you are a radio, and I'm not saying you're not a professional. What I'm saying is that I'm watching people saying is, what I'm saying is you're so biased for Trump to where you don't understand anything else.
Uh-huh. Well, you
That's
asked
what I'm
me
saying.
what the plan was. I'm telling you what the plan is.
I'm asking you what I'm telling you too. There is no plan.
Please don't axe me, because that could kill me. If you took an axe and axed me, you could go to jail. Ask.
You know what? Ask.
Okay. Well, I'm good. Okay.
You know what, Brian?
Yes.
What I'm saying is there is no plan, and you want to.
There is a plan, and I'm trying to tell you.
That's not a plan, Brian. That's not a plan.
The plan is this.
Where is the plan, Brian? Where's
right.
it written at? Where is
I
it
am
written
going
down
to.
at?
I'm going to discontinue this waste of time of a
Again,
call.
where's it
I
written?
would thank you for the call, but if I did that, I'd be lying. You know, there's a man who's in denial, who's gaslighting himself. Right? No, he didn't. There's no plan. There's nothing. Morning Joe told me. Morning Joe is filler programming. They wouldn't dare put something on against this show. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Dave from Denmark, South Carolina.
All right, Dave in South Carolina.
So, Trump had that electronical fault on the Air Force One the other day. I was doing a little bit of research on it, among the other things I researched, and found out that they only have 2 of those planes for Air Force One.
Well, no. In fact, we're not talking about Air Force One today, but I'll give you a little bit because there's a lot going on. There's an Air Force One fleet. They have 2 of the big planes, and then they have some of the. I don't know how many of the smaller planes. Any plane that the president is on that the Air Force owns is Air Force One. And they have several of them. They have at least 4, but I think there might be more in total, but at least 4. Not including the Qatar plane or the new Air Force One. All right, so the point of your call today?
Oh, I was just going to say that the big ones were introduced in 1990.
Yes, you are correct. All right. Hey, listen, I'm sure there's an aviation history program somewhere that would be very interested in all of that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy.
Yeah, hi. Hi, good morning, Brian. This is Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, what a great day.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to thank you. You handle these callers just wonderfully, Brian. Texas, hey, Texas.
Doc from Texas.
Yeah, Texas is just, he needs to just kind of calm down a little bit. And, I mean, it's a wonderful thing what's happening. And you're going to get more of these calls from more of these people on the left that are just going to become very unhinged with all the winning that's going to be happening. And I kind of feel bad for them in a way, but I'm really glad that they have your show to listen to. And I just wanted to thank you, but I just watched the ceremony, and I have to say, it's a thankful Thursday. And I'm just so thankful for President Trump and everything that he's doing for our country and putting America first. And I just wanted to say that. It's
just a reference to yesterday's show, and with the emergency landing of Air Force One and all these attempts.
Yes.
This ceremony, in less than 24 hours, President Trump got a Greenland deal. Parts of Greenland are going to be U.S. territory, sovereign U.S. territory. So he got what he wanted in Greenland. And then this Board of Peace. These two issues alone are things that these globalists don't want to happen.
Brian, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not tired of winning.
No.
And he is definitely, he's got a plan. And for the people that call that are just so upset, oh, what's the plan? What's the plan? Relax. Watch what's happening.
Well, we have the plan.
Change what you're watching.
We have the plan. He talked about it with the head of NATO yesterday. We're going to have the Golden Dome missile shield and a major military bases and probably even naval bases are going to be built in and around Greenland. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. You're going to hear, moving forward, you're going to hear more and more Democrats that are trying to convince themselves of things, all right? And that's just the way it's going to be. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
Think about this. This Board of Peace is the logical extension of the Abraham Accords.
That's right.
Think about it. Now, here's something else to think about. Historically speaking, when liberals try to bring peace to the world, what happens? Okay, we get things like the League of Nations, which was largely a failure. We get things like the United Nations, which has been largely a failure. So we had to have somebody like Trump to rethink this stuff to come up with this.
Yes.
This is a rethinking of the United Nations, and it's destroying the United Nations.
The United Nations is being phased out.
Yeah.
That's it. It's going to be gone soon.
They'll be gone soon, and basically that was a liberal construct.
Yeah. All right, Mike, I got to run. Appreciate the call. I agree with everything you said. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. This week, I know some of you have joined and booked on our 10th annual MAGA cruise. I talked to Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot yesterday afternoon. And welcome aboard. You're going to have a great time. There's only a handful of cabins left on board the ship. You got to understand, we have been promoting this cruise throughout the year. There are a few cabins left, but only a handful. And but they're pretty good cabins. I went over the cabins that are left on board late in the day yesterday with Ian, and there are some good deals and some great cabins left. So give Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot a call. You can call right now. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. And also, those of you that have been booking on the shore excursions, that Tortola catamaran trip will fill up. A lot of people signed up for the shore excursions yesterday, and we haven't even announced our Puerto Rican San Juan day of fun yet. Wait till you hear that one. But so if you haven't signed up for the shore excursions, guys, and you're already booked, please do that. And you can call Ian and he can walk you through that as well. But if you want to join us on our 10th annual MAGA cruise, do it. There's only a few cabins left on board. Give Ian a call, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We'll be right back. Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit divineescapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, divineescapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at divineescapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Happy New Year, health, wealth, and happiness, and may 2026 be your best year. The first quarter of each year is the slowest for roofing contractors across Florida due to the lack of rain, vacationers, and recuperating from the holiday spend. We have secured 2024 pricing on certain roofing materials with our suppliers for the first quarter only. So if you are planning on a new roof in 2026, take advantage of our first quarter low pricing now. These savings are significant, especially for multiple building HOA and condo associations. This covers shingles, tiles, and flat roof systems, so give me a call on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602 or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
On the line, we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax, who's just joining us.
This is Jamie Levac with Swift Tax. With the big, beautiful bill, I can help you with your federal, state, city, and income tax. The Treasury Secretary said that this year, taxpayers will be receiving the biggest refund they've had in years. We at Swift Tax will maximize your refund. Call me now, 954-773-1587. That number rings directly to my cell phone, 954-773-1587.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We have less than a minute, and we will be back on the air. We're still in radio break. There's two openings on the board at 888-465-2631. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at the radio station, so I got to get up a little earlier and leave early. I have to leave like 2 hours before the show when I go to the radio station. All right, we got about 20 seconds. Stand by. All right, 10 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. There's two openings on the board at 888-465-2631. I wanted to play this. This is Brit Hume last night on Fox with Bret Baier, and I'm playing this for Doc in Texas. Doc in Texas. I'm watching all the news. I'm watching Fox. There's no deal. Nothing. This is Fox News. Bret Baier, Brit Hume.
Well, if what we're finding out is hearing is correct, and the United States would gain control, maybe even sovereignty, over zones within Greenland to set up bases and for other military purposes, that would certainly be a solution to the issue. But it's not entirely clear to me how it would matter practically, and how much difference it would make between that and what we have now. We have extensive basing rights in Greenland under a treaty reached in 1951 through NATO.
Yeah, well, I know you don't, Brit Hume's a big Trump hater, guys. Never forget that. But even a Trump hater like Brit Hume says, we got Greenland. All right, sorry, Doc from Texas, deal with it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you, it really hit me yesterday while watching Trump at Davos. I mean, his not so secret superpower was when he speaks, it's like conversationally. It's all the other presidents, they almost always have. You could tell when they speaking to international groups.
Yeah,
you could tell they're always. It's like a speechwriters really. You definitely that was all 100% Trump yesterday.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, he walked in that second event with the speech at hand and said, I'm not going to use this. I feel bad for his speechwriters.
Yeah, all that effort for not. But you know what? The thing is you mentioned it yesterday. About Gavin. They would show shots of Gavin Newsom having to stand in the back, right?
Gavin Newsom was not given a chair during the Trump speech. He had to stand up against the wall, without a chair during the entire Trump speech. He wasn't worthy of a place to sit. That was beautiful.
Yeah, but the thing is, I kind of wish when I saw that, I wish they would have not only lingered on Newsom more often, but have a special camera. They should in the future, especially when Trump speaks, like when he was talking smack basically about Macron, especially Macron, and also Mark Carney. I wish there was a camera on each of them showing their reactions.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Gavin Newsom was really out of it. He looked like he was drunk yesterday when he was talking to the press. He just was out of it.
I think he knows there's investigations coming his way. I don't even, I don't even understand how does this guy even consider himself to be to run for president? I mean, like for example, the $100 billion they build $100 billion train system that goes basically nowhere.
The United States voters are not going to elect the former mayor of San Francisco to the presidency of the United States. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right on that. But I'll tell you, I was really, I was just amazed yesterday. Like when he was smacking around Macron, recreating where he was talking about putting
with the sunglasses and everything.
Yeah, but also about putting the tariffs on the wine and champagne, and he says, "You will." You will do this, Macron. And can you imagine what Macron was doing while watching that? That's why I really was hoping. Oh man, I'd give anything for a camera to be on that poor guy.
I think that he was wearing the sunglasses because his wife gave him a black eye. Remember, she was tuning him up on the plane a couple months ago. Macron's wife.
Yeah, he's like an abused husband.
Well, he's married to his former groomer. I mean, it's like Mary Kay Letourneau and her boyfriend. It's kind of the same thing, right? She's the first lady of France for a while longer. Yeah, she's abusive to him.
How much longer is Macron?
Not much longer because President Trump said he's on his way out. So I'm not sure how much longer he has.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Carney. I mean, this guy. The thing that's amazing is he was like Mr. Globalist. He was like the expert and all this, and yet now he just basically admitted failure, and now he's kissing up to China of all places. Alberta is on the verge of seceding from Canada. If that actually happens, that would ruin Canada. I mean, because the next to go would be Quebec.
Yeah, I was talking about you, PJ, to somebody the other day. I can't remember if this was on the air or not. I talk so much, I can't remember what was on the radio, what was on my podcast, or what was just in my living room. I can't remember. I just talk all the time. But PJ, he was on one of our cruises. The British couple with the wine. Oh my God! Yeah, there's this fancy snooty British couple. They're talking with PJ. He's on the cruise about wine, and they asked PJ if he could recommend a good American wine, and you recommended a. I almost broke a rib when you told me this. He recommended Thunderbird as a great American wine. Yeah. And I imagine when the ship got back to Florida, they went out and got some Thunderbird with all. Oh my goodness. That cracks me up every time.
Well, the reason why I told him that was because but the thing that was funny about it was the typical British actor, James Mason.
Yes, I love James Mason.
He did the Thunderbird wine commercial. Of course, he never
Get out of town. Really?
It's so refreshing, but you know what? You never saw him take a drop of that damn wine.
Yeah. I like Jason Mason. All right, PJ, take care. Good to hear from you. All right? Yeah, PJ's always good. When he said Thunderbird, I mean, I was supposed to crack a rib. That never gets old. I've never had Thunderbird, but then again, I'm not a street wino, you know. All right, let's see here. What time? Okay, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Kenny from Palm Beach.
Hey, Kenny, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if it's been brought up, but one of the parts of the brilliance of President Trump with this Greenland acquisition.
Wait, one moment here.
He said that we would maybe be paying, $700-800 million or whatever, and it got everyone all excited. But in the meantime, he's doing his real strategy, which is cherry picking which sections of Greenland that he wants.
That's right.
Like you said, maybe ports to put our ships there or whatever. But then not only do we not pay Greenland, they pay us with all their mineral rights.
Yeah, President, I know everyone. If all these people at Davos read and the Democrats read The Art of the Deal, President Trump always asks for a lot more than he wants, a lot more, and when the other side thinks he's made concessions, he still gets more than he wanted. That's how every deal works with Trump.
It's fantastic, and more than likely it's going to go through. What I read was I think it was something called the Atlantic Journal. I don't know if that's
the Atlantic. Oh my God, I didn't know people still read the Atlantic. That's good. Go to sleep to reading.
It's something that just came up, and when you Google. But if we get the mineral rights and we get to cherry pick where we want to station our military, I mean that's the best deal ever.
It absolutely is. And I imagine we're going to have this whole new Arctic Navy, is what it seems like to me. And that's what there's going to be. We're going to have naval bases almost at the North Pole.
Yeah,
pretty exciting.
That's exactly what he wanted, and that's
and missiles.
Just another great chess move.
Well, see, like I was saying, when you look at the map, when you look at the globe from above the North Pole. Now that we have Greenland, we got Alaska, we have Russia on both flanks now, right, between Alaska and Greenland. And with the minerals that we're going to get out of Greenland, we're putting China out of business with their rare earth mineral monopoly. Half the rare earth minerals come from China right now. They're getting bypassed. Totally bypassed.
Well, it's fantastic for the future of the United States with
and the world.
What we're doing, and the history books will realize it in time because only half the people in the country realize it now. The other half has lost their mind.
Well, it was what happened in Davos yesterday. Obviously, the head of NATO loves Trump, right? He loves Trump, and he agrees with Trump on everything. But he went over there, and in just in a few minutes, he got everything he wanted. Everything. And Caitlin Collins from CNN and Gavin Newsom are running around with, they don't even know what happened.
Well, I didn't have a chance to see anything because I was in for some procedure yesterday, but I just got caught up on it. And
well, hopefully it turned out, did the procedure turn out all right? You're here with me, so it must have.
Oh yeah, it just affected my voice a little bit. It was routine actually. It was nothing serious, just routine. But good shape.
All right, good. All right, well, thanks for calling, and glad the procedure went well. Take care. All right, what time is it? Yeah, if you're on hold, stand by. Oh man, we'll get to some more calls after the break. It's a great day, guys. It's a great day. I want to talk about the great Mike Lindell, the next governor of Minnesota, and the huge savings you can get at MyPillow.com. I have every one of the MyPillows that he makes. I have the My Pillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. I have the My Pillow mattress, the My Pillow mattress topper, the My Pillow towels, the My Pillow slippers. I've got everything. I've used our promo code KANE, Kane, on everything except the first My Pillow because Mike Lindell wasn't with us. And when I'd been through every pillow you could imagine, every pillow, to get a good night's sleep. And my wife got me the My Pillow. And I'd been through everything, the foam pillows, the bamboo pillows, and everything. Nothing worked. One night with that My Pillow, and it changed my life. I've slept on nothing else since. I even take them on the cruise, except the one where I forgot. I take my My Pillows on the cruise. And I remember my mother-in-law was staying over a couple years ago for Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. And she says, hey, can I sleep on one of those My Pillows? I said, Mom, that's all we got. And she's like, I want to see if those My Pillows are everything you say they are. She woke up the next morning and she said, wow, they're amazing. It's unbelievable. I've never slept like. That's right. The My Pillows are spectacular. But everything at mypillow.com is spectacular. And there's huge savings as much as 80% off. You can use our promo code KANE at checkout, Kane, on all the specials at mypillow.com. Great time to do your Valentine's Day shopping. That's promo code KANE, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com or call toll-free 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, Kane. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to go to the phones after the break, guys, and great calls so far, so keep them coming. And I've enjoyed these calls. This is really a great day of celebration, isn't it? We'll be right back.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
All right, by the way, there's a link to that book in the description, When the Fae Came, and order it. That's a listener to the program who's in the chat quite often, and the link to their book is in the description of the video. Click that link. It's on Amazon. Order a copy and support them. They're supporting the program. All right, we got about 30 seconds, and we will be back. If you're on hold, stand by. The number is pinned in the live chat if you'd like to call in, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. 10 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. And, of course, we're celebrating President Trump. We got Greenland and much more. And we're only a year in to this second term. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Brian? This is Angela Santonio, man.
Hey.
Man, I'm just so glad. I'm so proud, man, to be American. So proud of our president, man. Donald Trump, he is the greatest man alive. And this deal he just did, and I just can't understand how this guy is talking about what is going to happen. What moves? What is he talking about? Does he not look at the news?
Oh, you're talking about Doc from Texas?
I'm talking about pay attention to Yeah, that guy, he's crazy, and it's weird that he's from Texas. He can't be from Texas, man. He got to be from New York, just saying he's from Texas. But look, enough about that clown, man. I mean, Donald Trump, man, he is the greatest president ever lived, and he is, I mean, is just so good of a job what he's doing and everything.
What happened at the World Economic Forum, it's amazing how as soon as he landed, they caved and gave him everything he wanted.
Everything. And it's everything. I mean, it's just everyone put on their front, said what they said, but when it came to it, they caved and they opened the door up to them just like they were going to do anyway. And I don't even see why they did it, man. And I just want to say this last, man. Thanks for being the person you are and the knowledge you have and everything, Brian, because you're a great patriot, and most definitely Steve is a great patriot.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. We have nice listeners in this audience, don't we? We have some that aren't so nice, but most of you guys, very nice. Oh, man. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Louisiana.
Yeah?
Hello? Yeah, I was wondering, did you see when the Treasury Secretary shamed Newsom?
No, I missed that. Yesterday, Scott Bessent, our openly gay Secretary of Treasury. No, what did he do?
Nah, he just shamed him in front of his face while Newsom was there.
How so?
In the crowd. Yeah.
What did he do?
Well, he was just telling him about his how good California's not doing and all that.
Well, California's next on Nick Shirley's fraud investigation list.
Yeah.
And Newsom's in trouble. Newsom looked really off yesterday. He was not right in the head. Now, I'm not talking about his normal crazy. He looked like he was drunk yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen that. But I love what Trump's doing, and thank you for taking my call, Brian.
Well, thank you, Brian. All right, take care. So, again, Doc in Texas, what's the plan, Brian? No, he didn't. This is the president talking about the Greenland plan.
The USA gets everything we wanted.
Hear that? The USA, the United States of America, he says, the USA gets everything we wanted. That's the first deal. We got Greenland, and it's an infinite, forever deal, the president said. And, of course, the USA gets everything we wanted, and it's a forever deal. There you go. We got it. Oh, man. And it happened so quick. What a day of celebration. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Mike from Georgia.
Hey, Georgia. What's on your mind?
First of all, I want to say nice sweatshirt. I love your sweatshirt. Bro.
Yeah, I got this from Nick Shirley directly. This is a Nick Shirley hoodie I'm wearing. It's the Leering Center. Yeah, it's nice. I just got it in the mail yesterday.
That's cool. So anyway, that guy Soros was with, I heard that guy talking about
Soros' son was with Gavin Newsom, and that
shoots at them right there. But I think Trump did an awesome job, and I'm proud to be an American.
You said proud to be. It's been. We've never experienced winning like this. This is what it felt like, I imagine, when we won the Second World War. There was Americans felt so good because we defeated these evil forces. What President Trump did in Davos, he defeated globalism. The globalists are done. Done. It's over.
He's the only man that could have done it.
Yeah. All right.
God bless it.
All right, Georgia. Take care. All right. Yeah. Oh, man. So here's the Secretary General of NATO yesterday.
There are these tensions at the moment, there's no doubt. Again, I'm not going to comment on that, but I can assure you the only way to deal with that is, in the end, thoughtful diplomacy. So statements from me will not add anything here. And when it comes to the Arctic, I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic. We know that these sea lanes are opening up. We know that China and Russia are increasingly active in the Arctic. There are 8 countries bordering on the Arctic. 7 are a member of NATO. That's Finland and Sweden and Norway and Denmark, Iceland, Canada and the US. And there's only 1 country bordering on the Arctic outside NATO, and that's Russia. And I would argue there is a 9th country, which is China, which is increasingly active in the Arctic region. So President Trump and other leaders are right. We have to do more there. We have to protect the Arctic against Russian and Chinese influence. And that's exactly what NATO ambassadors decided to do in September. We are working on that, making sure that collectively will we defend the Arctic region.
Yeah, and you know what this tells me? it tells me that Trump had the deal before he even went to Davos, right? You know, it all came together so fast, much faster than we would have thought. And here's the president. This was on CNBC. He mentions the deal right in the beginning.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
Yeah, you know, and this is really, you know, when the liberals that I've talked to today, right, Doc from Texas, and then that other guy that wanted to try to get us distracted into Air Force One, you know, the hate America First crowd, there aren't as many of them as there used to be. And this country is so much more conservative than people realize because liberals are overrepresented in media. And, you know, I give an example, like when President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, that's when I first realized, I mean, I knew this was a conservative country, you know, you know, that's true, but I didn't realize how conservative and how small the left were until President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade with a Supreme Court decision. There were no nationwide protests of women in the Handmaid's Tale costume. Remember when Kavanaugh was confirmed and he was at the Supreme Court getting sworn in? Remember all those Handmaid's Tale costume lunatic women trying to rip the front door of the Supreme Court off the hinges to get in? Let us in. There was none of that when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And, you know, Roe v. Wade was one of the biggest issues since the 70s. I'm not going to go through the history of Roe v. Wade, but, you know, when Roe v. Wade and that Supreme Court decision came out in 1973, from 1973 until it was overturned by the Trump Supreme Court, which year did they overturn Roe v. Wade? Was it 21, 22? When did Roe v. Wade overturn? 21, 22? Well, however long, between 1973 and then, it was the most talked about issue every single day in the news. Candidates would run for president, and that was the number one question. Do you support Roe v. Wade? Do you support overturning Roe v. Wade? Even with Democrats, right? Remember when Al Gore ran for president in 2000, will you have a litmus test for Supreme Court justices and federal judges when it comes to their support of Roe v. Wade? Remember all that discussion? And it was the most, by far, Roe v. Wade was the most talked about issue for 40, 50 years in this country. And the day that it got overturned, there wasn't a single protest in this country. So why is that? There aren't that many liberals. There just are not. There used to be, but not anymore. They've all faded away for a number of reasons. But there just are not as many liberals as there used to be. You know, the left used to have, you know, what we used to call victim groups in their pocket. They've lost them, gays, blacks. And, you know, they lost the blacks as a voting bloc. There's still black Democrats. There's always going to be Democrats, guys. But, you know, most of the of black people that you hear from on this program aren't liberal. They're conservative. You know, I remember when it was unheard of, really, to hear a black conservative on the phone. You would hardly get it. I remember I'd listen to Rush, the late, great Rush Limbaugh. He'd get a black Republican on the line, and he would keep them on for like through breaks on the Rush Limbaugh program, remember? Because it was so unusual to hear from a black Republican. Now almost every single black caller, male or female, is a conservative. And they lost the black vote, I think, because it took a long time after the civil rights movement, but in the last 10 years or so, we finally have reached economic equality with blacks. I noticed this when I would, you know, I've gone to Disney World my whole life, living in Florida, and long ago when I was a kid, you didn't see black people at Disney World very often. Now you do, and the reason you do is because it's an expensive place to go. It's cheaper to go to Europe than Disney World with your family for a week. I'm not kidding. You guys know that, but you see a lot of black people at Disney World where you didn't before because we've reached economic equality, and it's not just Disney World. There's other things too. And once people reach the middle class or above and start paying income tax, they become conservative right quick, don't they? So the Democrats, and they've lost the gay vote. You know, gay Republicans was such a rare thing. And now look, our super cool Treasury Secretary, openly gay, and there's a lot of gays for Trumps. You see gays for Trump all over the place. So they've lost their so-called victim groups. Now, basically, what they have are mental patients and losers. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. 1 hour down, 2 to go. Call us on hold. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this break. Oh, how exciting, guys. How exciting.
Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts, too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com.
On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie, and the next day I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he straightened all my back taxes out, and I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got nice big checks coming soon.
Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. All right, we'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones after the break. Okay, let me look at the time here. Okay, we got about 90 seconds, and we'll be back. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. I mean, this is really a great day, isn't it? It is such a great day. I do love this Nick Shirley hoodie, you know, and it's got, it's a good hoodie, too. You know? And I like that it doesn't have the strings. I hate the strings on hoodies. You know what I mean? This is a great hoodie. Yeah. My wife has me growing out my hair. She wants me to have long hair, so I'm growing out my hair, guys. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Yep, if you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, how exciting. All this winning. But I always, when my wife has me grow out my hair, she's done this before, I always chicken out because you get to that awkward phase. All right, here we go. About 15 seconds. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. There's one opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631. 465-2631. If you're just tuning in, Trump got his Greenland, and the Board of Peace deal has been signed. So President Trump has been elevated to president of the world at Davos, and it's a day of celebration. All right, to the phones we shall go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Sherry from Texas. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sherry. How are you?
I'm just so ecstatic. I can't even sleep. I'm just so over the top excited of just all the winnings. I wasn't real clear. Of course, I wasn't close to a radio or anything yesterday. They had to remove doing evacuation because of.
Oh, you're talking about Air Force One?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I talked about this on all of yesterday's show, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest capsulized version. About 1 hour, after takeoff on the way to Davos, Switzerland, Air Force One made a U-turn back to Andrews. They removed the president and everyone, put him on another Air Force One, and they said there was a minor electrical issue. The lights went out in the press part of the cabin, but I don't believe that. I think it was another attempt. We've had 2 other attempts recently involving Air Force One, and the things that he did in Davos, believe me, the globalists did not want him to do.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point to where all of this. Everybody should know how Trump is, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he says what he means, and he means what he says, but he doesn't say it mean. He's very monotone. He's always a matter of fact. This is what's going to be done, whether you like it or not. I'm going to win. Okay. This man is taking on Russia.
And by the way, did you see how one of President Trump's son, Barron Trump, saved the life of a woman in the UK? Did you see this?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
This is a very strange story. Barron has a lady friend in the UK, and he's 19 years old now, and he's FaceTiming his lady friend in the UK, and a jealous ex-boyfriend or something came in and attacked the woman.
Oh my gosh.
And started, was going to kill her, was going to beat her. And Barron called the version of 911 in the UK, which is 999, even though I don't know if he was, I'm assuming he's at the White House because he lives at the White House. Could have been at Mar-a-Lago, but he called 999 in London and got help. And the police arrived, and she said she was on her knees, that this guy was going to kill her. Barron saved a woman's life. It's insane. That's a crazy story.
I didn't hear anything about that, Brian.
I know. The media don't want you to know. Barron may be president one day. I mean, he's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've always said that to my husband, but. The thing is with this Greenland, and you've got people in Congress and everywhere else going, having all these differences about him U.S. purchasing, taking over Greenland, right? Mm-hmm. I truly believe that this deal was already done before he even went
Absolutely.
over.
Absolutely.
This was completed. So anyway, your news is always great, as always. I didn't get any clarity on that Air Force One.
Yeah, and the stories disappeared from the news, too. And like the other attempts, and we're never going to know the full story. But no, I don't. Go back and listen to yesterday's show. You'll get all the details.
Yeah, well, and with Levitt, I guess it's her job to downplay it, right?
Caroline Levitt.
Her job. Yeah, because I'd heard a piece of it, and I thought, she's playing it down a little bit, and it's really not her place to really elaborate on what happened. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Take care. Yeah, that is an amazing story, and the woman herself credits Barron with saving her life. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Ken from Hollywood.
Hey, Ken. Hollywood, California or Florida?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Real
We
fast.
like our listeners in Hollywood. I like Hollywood.
Okay, good. Before the break, you touched on something that I think is worth just going a little bit deeper. You had mentioned that the Democrats have lost their base with the African Americans, the gays, and other groups. That is so true, and what a lot of my liberal friends don't understand, when they hear Trump close the border, they're like, "Oh, he's mean." Obama, Biden, Harris, they were caring, thoughtful. We were trying to help the world. That's all a bunch of BS. That's what do you do when you lose your base? You need new people. So that's why they opened
New
the
victims.
border.
Yeah.
You need new victims to come in and prop up the Democratic
And they
Party.
lost senior citizens too, I see, I've been doing this. I started, doing a radio talk show when I was a teenager. Okay? So I've been doing this since I was a kid. And I know some of you remember me back then. If you have any tapes, please burn and destroy them. But I talk about black and gays, but it was if you got a call from a senior citizen, they were always a Democrat. We called them back, and senior citizens now are Republican. It was very rare, especially here in Florida, to find senior citizens who were Republican. Very rare. And now most every senior citizen is a Republican. There's been a big change in this country.
Yeah, and I think to your point, because you remember I'm a little older than you, but I was in end of high school, beginning in college when Reagan was in office, and the left destroyed him at the time. Not like today with social media, but at the time it was really considered very bad the way they treated him. But the left back then, and even recently, what do they do to the senior citizens? They scare them about, you're going to have your Medicaid and Social Security card.
Well, if you notice, you don't hear. Yes, they used to do that, right? Remember the TV commercial the Democrats had of the Republicans taking grandma and grandpa in a wheelchair and throwing them off a cliff, and all that stuff. They don't. The Democrats don't cater their message to senior citizens anymore. I haven't seen one. Now, they may tell the Somali pirates of Minnesota, vote Democrat so you can keep your Medicare and Medicaid scam going, but I don't even see them doing outreach to senior citizens anymore. I don't know who their outreach is. I guess Guatemalans, Venezuelans.
Their whole platform, all they really have is racism and inequality. What do they stand for? Do you even know? I have no idea.
Yeah. By the way, Hollywood, remember the 9/11 hijackers went and partied down at the beach before 9/11.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there was a restaurant on the Circle that they were in the night before.
Oh, really? On Young Circle?
Oh, yeah. No, Hollywood Circle.
Oh, Hollywood Circle. It used to be, with all due respect, Hollywood, especially the beach, used to be a dump. And what they have done to that broadwalk down there is amazing. It is so cool and beautiful. Hollywood, if you're visiting Florida, my favorite beach has always been Fort Lauderdale. But people say Miami Beach, Hollywood Beach is amazing.
It is. It's really, really nice. I've been here forever. I've followed your show for years.
And if you know your presidents and in the order in which they were president, you can find your way right down US 1 on the south side of Young Circle. Yeah. The streets are named after presidents in the order in which they were president.
Well, remember also they tried to get rid of, they had a little chatter going here in Hollywood. The liberals were chirping up about getting rid of the signs because they were all racist white men. Remember
I know, Washington and Adams and all those people, and Grant. Yeah. Grant, he was a big, the lead, I know, Grant. Give me a break. Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, appreciate the call.
All right, Frank.
All right, take care. All right, let's see here. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. It's Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug, I just looked at the... hold on. I got to put you on hold. I looked at the clock. It's time to break. I apologize. Okay. I want to tell everyone about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It was a year ago, Monday, that I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret. A year ago, Monday. Because I remember I went there on Inauguration Day, and then I went... Remember we had our inauguration party? I left our inauguration party and then flew to California to visit my daughter in L.A., and I told Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I'm going to start next week because when I go to California, I'm going to go out for my Korean barbecue. I'm going to go out and have some Mexican food, because that's big. And he said, no problem. And so Monday will be a year that I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And in the first 3 weeks after that, I lost 25 pounds. Isn't that something? I've lost over 35 pounds total. My goal was to lose 25 pounds. And I've kept all the weight off. And people ask me all the time this question, even though I point it out every time I talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Brian, are you still taking pills? You're still getting shots? There are no pills and no shots. No pills and no shots. And since I didn't exercise, I ate foods I would normally eat and didn't starve myself, the maintain phase has been easy. I have not gained an ounce back. Not an ounce. It's amazing. And, I have some vices. I like jelly beans. I like Twizzlers. All Coke is Mexican Coke now. Oh, man. I drink Coke. I do all that. And I haven't gained an ounce back. And there's no shots and no injections, okay? Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call and do what I did. Lose the weight and keep it off. Now, I just wanted to lose 25 pounds. I lost over 35. But if you want to lose 235 pounds or even more, they can help you too. Call right now. Schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, there's two openings on the board if you'd like to call in. We're in radio break, but I wanted to play more of this. This is the president on CNBC.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security.
So look at this. We got Greenland, guys.
Strong security and other things.
The market, 600 points, getting back a lot of some of the nervousness we had in the last couple of days. The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like we have pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal...
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it down the line. But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some other people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able to make.
Where does Denmark, did they weigh in on what they want, what they would agree to?
Well, I assume they did because he very much represents, he's a strong leader. Mark, Rutte. And he, I assume he's been speaking to them. He's been speaking to all of them.
Are mineral rights involved? Is ownership involved? Did the Golden Dome sway people?
I don't want to say yet, but...
The Golden Dome was very compelling today when you talked about that.
Yeah, the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in the Golden Dome. And they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's...
Forever.
Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
That's staggering.
That's better than a 99-year.
This is what, 2 hours after.
It's better than the Obama deal with the famous Iran nuclear deal with a 9-year deal. No, this is forever.
Oh my goodness. It's a forever deal. Oh man, if you're on hold, stand by. One opening at 888-465-2631. It's a forever deal. I love it. Oh, man. I'm going to play that on the radio. I'm going to take some calls first, though. Oh, man. Less than 90 seconds, and we'll be back. It's forever. It's like that ridiculous deal that the Brits made with China, with Hong Kong. They should still have Hong Kong. Why they make a deal to give it back to China? Exactly. It is a forever deal. We have it forever. Forever. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take some calls, but then I'm going to play that on the radio in a bit. It's too good. Less than a minute and we'll be back. Oh, what a great day. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Oh, man. 30 seconds. Yeah, somebody asked to show my hairline. Yeah, no, I got all my hair. Yeah, no hair transplants. No. Oh, my goodness. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. There's one opening on the board at 888-465-2631. Doug, I held Doug over. Hey, sorry, Doug. Thanks for holding over.
Hey, no problem. You know, I tell you, I agree with you, man. As soon as President Trump mentioned Greenland, I said, this must be a 90% done deal before he said it. Otherwise, he wouldn't put himself out and made him look bad. So this is great. I didn't see it, but I'm wondering if this happened. I think if a reporter went into a bar or a restaurant and said, how many people would like to get rid of Denmark and have the United States there? I think it would be overwhelming everybody.
Well, I learned a little. I learned something, with all my studying of history, my history degree and all, I learned something about World War II history that I didn't know. President Trump, in his speech yesterday in Davos, he said when Germany attacked Denmark, they surrendered in 6.5 hours. The war was over with Denmark in 6.5 hours. That's who we got protecting us from the Soviets, from the Russians, and from the CCP and Greenland? I don't think so. 6 hours, 6.5 hours. That was the whole. That's less than France lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah, man. They have no military. They have nothing.
How humiliating.
Yeah, and that one guy, I forgot what country he's from, he says, "Oh, we can protect ourselves." No, you can't. I mean, cut it out. I mean, there's something wrong with these people, but they all know that President Trump is the best thing that's ever happened to them. And now that Greenland's going to take over, they're all going to see it. They're going to want him to be president of the world, I think, because he does everything great for everybody.
That's right.
This guy, I've never seen anybody in politics do what President Trump does. What a special guy. We're so lucky to be alive, to be living through this. This guy
sure are.
Unbelievable.
Sure are.
Unbelievable, man.
All right, Doug. Appreciate the call.
Matter of fact,
okay. All right. Take care. Appreciate the call. All right. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Dr. Ken from Jupiter.
Dr. Ken from Jupiter. What say you?
Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about Greenland.
Yes.
And
Greenland,
had a couple points and a punchline.
Greenland, USA.
Greenland, USA. And I had a couple comments and a punchline, but now I actually have two punchlines because what happened yesterday, and you kind of stole my thunder, but I'll give you a pass.
Okay.
Donald Trump is the master negotiator. We know that. This negotiation takes the cake. It's because of its sensationalism, because it happened to be on the world stage. No more important than any other major negotiation, but one person saw this coming. Nobody. The world leaders, nobody. It was like a quarterback who has to throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game, and everybody goes to the end zone to defend it, and he hands off to Emmitt Smith, who runs it 60 yards for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got what he wanted.
Well,
he just faked out everybody.
I don't know if we're going to get anytime soon how it went down, but obviously the Secretary General of NATO loves Trump. We saw that when he came to the White House a few months ago, and he was key to this.
Yes.
But this deal was done before Air Force One took off. There's no doubt about it.
Yes. And a couple comments about the whole plan. This plan was nothing new. This plan was designed when we had the Department of Defense before the Department of War, back in Trump's first campaign.
People are always making plans. I mean, you find you got any kids or grandkids that are Gen Z? They all got plans with their Notion boards, but you got to make the plans happen.
Yeah, and for people need to understand, he had one goal in mind here. He has nothing to gain personally, like everything else, to protect the United States, to protect the citizens and the world. That's all he cared about, and that's what this was all about. And then take it a step further, you've commented on the Monroe Doctrine before on the show. I mean, you would never see U.S. Navy ships in the seas around Russia or China unless there was a threat. Never. And they're sitting there, we're sitting ducks, just like we went down to Venezuela, because that's our turf, and this is our turf.
Now we're going to have some new Arctic Navy. That's what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I got to say, and I won't use the L word, but the anti-Trumpers who commented vigorously at the beginning of this plan when they thought that Trump was going to go in with military and et cetera, the TDS kind of trumped, excuse the pun, the compassion that they should have had for the United States citizens.
Man, that's right.
The hatred is so deep.
That's right.
It's almost unthinkable.
That's right. Well, I got to tell you, calling from Jupiter, I can't. I was in Jupiter not too long ago. Not only is it beautiful, but we have so many listeners in Jupiter. I mean, it's amazing how many listeners we have in Jupiter. If I ever feel depressed, I'll just go to Jupiter.
A great town.
It is.
Yeah,
my wife wants to
town,
move to
right,
Jupiter.
yeah.
She's been trying to get me to move to Jupiter for a while now.
Hey, let me know. I got some good realtors I can
Oh, you
catch
do?
up with.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's a good place to live, but I used to go there when I was a kid. It was like cow patties when Burt Reynolds lived there, right? And they turned the Burt Reynolds Ranch into a housing development. I don't know if it's a nice house. I don't know anything about it, but it is
nice. Yeah,
it is
actually,
nice.
The greatest male vocalist of all time lived here, Perry Como.
I did not know that. And well,
yes, he did.
and of
there's
course,
a Perry Como Park right near us.
And of course, Don Jr. and Eric live in Jupiter.
Right around the corner from me. Yep.
Unfortunately, Joe and Mika live in Jupiter. They were the one.
They do.
It was Joe Scarborough and Mika were the ones that were trying to get Nancy Pelosi to move to Jupiter. Remember? And I was like, oh, she doesn't realize Jupiter's MAGA country. And she thinks because Joe and Mika live there. I wonder what it's like for Joe and Mika in Jupiter. What circles do they hang in? Not the circles of people I know in Jupiter.
I think they keep a low profile, and I also think Nancy Pelosi would never, ever leave Northern California.
Oh, no. She's the queen of... Plus, she's got to keep an eye on her husband. Because every time she's out of town, he has, strange men come to the house.
Somebody breaks in and hits him over the head.
In his underwear. Or he gets into a car accident out in the middle of nowhere with people in the car with him who would never get identified. Yeah, she's got to keep close to her husband, Nancy. All right. Appreciate the call.
Yep.
Dr. Kin from Jupiter. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. My name is Coach T.
Hold on, Coach T. My phone's a ringing.
How are you?
All right, Coach T. What do you coach?
Listen,
what kind of coach are you?
I used to be a track and field coach.
Oh, okay,
but I still
cool.
go by the name of Coach T.
All right.
All right, so there are a couple of things I heard you say. I just want to kind of give some feedback on it. You said something about African-American voters and how they are switching over to the Republican Party.
It's already happened.
Yes, there are some of us. And I think the reason why, I know the reason why on my behalf is that I'm not a Republican voter. I stay in the center. I vote independent. But many of my friends who switch, they're older in age. And the older crowd becomes more conservative as you grow older. And that's why I think people switch over. There's some things that they see they can't tolerate from the younger crowd or the younger generation, especially the liberals. So that forces us to switch over.
In fact, the reason a few years ago, remember when the Democrats were taking down all those Civil War memorials and everything? The reason the Democrats were taking all these things down is because all those old racists were Democrats, and black people were starting to realize that, hey, wait a minute, the slave owners, the Confederates, the Jim Crow people, they were all Democrats. It was the Democrats that attacked Martin Luther King and everyone on that bridge in Selma. The Democrats were, Martin Luther King and John Lewis they were going to vote Republican, so they bashed him over the head. And the Democrats were trying to wipe out their own history to try to save the black vote. But it's been lost, and the Democrats are losing more black voters every election season.
Well, I don't think that's the case, but
that's true.
And I had a conversation with you the other day when I found your station. I heard you say something, and I asked you about the states that were slave-holding states, the states that ceded the Union.
Mm-hmm.
What party did they represent?
The Democrats.
Then, and what party do they represent today?
But you can't compare. You can't compare Florida as an example. Okay, you can't compare Florida to Florida of the 1850s and 60s. Where's the University of South Florida? What part of Florida?
It's in Tampa.
Right. But what part of Florida is Tampa in?
Tampa is in the center.
It's in Central Florida. So why is the University of South Florida in Central Florida?
Because that's as far as
I'll tell you, I'm up against a break. That used to be Central Florida used to be South Florida. And since the Civil War, there's been mass migration into Florida. Most people in Florida are like me from up north. So, the University of South Florida is in Tampa because that used to be South Florida back in the Civil War, antebellum Democrat slave. There's been mass migration. People have moved. It's not the same place it was in the 1850s and 60s. That's why.
Yes, and I understand that. I know that the further south you go in Florida, the more liberal it becomes, or the more centered it becomes.
Well, that's the New Yorkers. Yeah. That's the New York problem. Yeah, all the New Yorkers. But that's what. Listen, I got to run for a break, but Coach T, welcome, and call me again. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about the Sloman's Home Security free home security system offer with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month, and you're locked in for 5 years. It's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in anytime no matter where you are. Give Sloman's a call no matter where you're located, toll free 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. Great calls today. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free and it's pinned in the live chat.
Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts, too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com. What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
All right, and there's a link to that book in the description of the video. That's one of our regular YouTube watchers. So click that link, guys, and pick up a copy of that book. He's one of our listeners in the UK, so he's UK MAGA. All right, stand by, guys. 25 seconds. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're just tuning in, Trump got Greenland for us in Davos, and we're celebrating President Trump becoming president of the world. Our number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Don from Jupiter.
Hey, Don. Another call. See, I told you guys we're popular in Jupiter, man. You're the third call this morning from Jupiter.
Loves you.
Yeah.
Jupiter loves you, man.
That's right.
I heard an earlier caller talk about Scott Bessent dissing Newsom. Did you hear about that?
I missed that. No. What happened?
Anyway, he's Bessent's doing a speech. He calls Newsom Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken.
Oh my goodness!
Patrick Bateman was the actor from American Psycho. He said that Gavin Newsom is the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris.
Oh my goodness! How did I miss that? I got to find that.
He said that Newsom was there with his sugar daddy Alex Soros. So he just ripped them a new one. It was fantastic.
Oh, was that a speech he gave? Was that on stage? How did I miss that?
That was Bessent's speech in Davos.
I'll pull that up.
The audio. It's fantastic.
I'll try to get it for the show today. All right, take care. I told you guys we're hot in Jupiter. That's the third call like in this hour from Jupiter at least. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning.
Yep.
Morning. Yeah, this is Richie.
Richie the bus driver.
I got to tell you, I'm going to say a couple things here. President Trump always goes, if you ever listen, you understand President Trump because you've been around Steve for 30 years. And Steve is very, believe it or not, is next to Trump when he speaks is polished. President Trump has dealt his whole life with construction workers. He's a man of the people. He's a New Yorker, which is the reason why you get these white liberal women can't stand them, because everything that comes out of President Trump's mouth, they consider it bragging, but it's not bragging. It's what he's accomplished.
Yes.
They don't like his tone. This is all they got to go on, his tone. So you know what he has? He has Marco Rubio to clean up the language if they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe when he called the French president. He said, listen, no, Donald. And he caved in 3 minutes when I told him I was going to put the tariff on him. Mm-hmm. And he comes across, President Trump is a no-nonsense, straight shooter, and they can't stand it. And he embarrassed all of them by saying, you see the windmills all over the place? They're stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
He was calling them all stupid.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. And the fact is, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. And when you're right and your policies are on, and they're suffering with this illegal immigration garbage going on in Europe where they're losing our identity, and he even put that up to them, when he shows them the windmills and he shows them their electric bills are going out of the roof and they're depending on oil from their enemy, what do you think he's, and then you get we're not going to have any friends anymore. The United States is not going to have any friends anymore. Who cares? I love it when a Canadian calls you up and you say, Canada's a nothing. That's Trump's attitude. And you have the same attitude, Brian.
Well,
I mean,
the attitude is that America's number one and nobody else comes close. And it's really amazing with all of these Democrats and corrupt presidents in Congress we've had that have been selling this country out, and we're still number one in everything.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about what he said yesterday when they said, some people call me daddy. I almost fell out of the chair.
Oh, my goodness. Daddy Trump.
I tell you, Daddy Trump, because he is their daddy, and people better get used to it out there. He is daddy. He's President Daddy. And I don't want to hear any more Democrats saying, well, he's going against the Constitution. The Constitution. I mean, this is such.
Remember what I say. Anytime you hear a Democrat talking about the glory of the Constitution, they're burning it up or tearing it up. They hate the Constitution.
Now I'm going to close with saying one thing to you. The baby in Minnesota was a complete lie. They got $200,000 contribution. It's complete fabricated. They were demonstrating and they left their baby in the car. They said they were at a basketball game. They're all liars in Minnesota. It's disgraceful. I watched them chase the what do you call it? Ice all over the place yesterday. They're on every street corner with whistles. They got bicycles chasing them down. The whole city is in sync.
Pam Bondi said, and she says a lot, so we need to see. Glenn Beck came out yesterday and called for President Trump to fire Pam Bondi. Glenn Beck, he did a big thing on his show yesterday. She hasn't arrested anyone.
Too slow.
But she did say last night though that there's going to be some major arrests coming very soon. In Minnesota, and the governor and the mayor are being hauled in for interrogation.
You know what the problem is there, though? I mean, believe it or not, any other state, but they're all crazy there, and they're all liberal.
Mm-hmm.
The whole government is corrupted and liberal. The judges have to be liberal and corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to go before a Minnesota judge, and they're not going to do nothing. The judges. I mean, we have to do it.
I heard them say that they have to go to a Minnesota judge. I mean, I don't know.
Yes,
these Democrats, I remember them during the Muslim ban as an example. They went judge shopping. They found a judge in Brooklyn. So why do we have to go to Minnesota, but Democrats go judge shopping all over creation? That Ninth Circuit and all that garbage? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, I love your learning center.
At Leary.
Leary Center.
I'm wearing.
Yeah,
I got this hoodie.
You,
I got this hoodie in the mail yesterday from Nick Shirley. It's the Quality Leering Center hoodie. 1-800-FRAUD is the number.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I know. I like this
one. People going to look at you. When you go out in public with that thing on, you're going to get stares.
I don't think most liberals will get it.
Oh no, Brian! That is the #1 hoodie in the United States right now.
Oh, you think the liberals will get this? Like if I wore this to Starbucks, you think the baristas would know what it was about?
I wouldn't order coffee. I wouldn't order coffee there.
I've been burned. I've been burned at almost every Starbucks in town. There's only 2 Starbucks left that don't know me that I go to, and I'm undercover MAGA. And what I do, because I leave my MAGA hat in the car, and I wear a jacket over my Trump shirt when I go in to get my coffee. They have no idea, So, but YouTube just had next to you. I'm watching on my big TV, and they just had Melania. You going to see the movie? Of course, I'm going to go to the movie theater and see Melania. Is it this weekend?
Yeah, that's Melania. Can you believe? I wonder what the reaction.
Listen, everyone. I cannot remember the last time I went to. Probably the last time I went to a movie theater is when the last Star Wars movie came out in the theaters. Maybe.
Yeah.
So it was before the lockdown. I don't go to the movies like everybody else. I just wait for things to come. But it's important to go out and see the Melania movie because if we don't have a good box office, that'll be the whole story. And we need to go out and support Melania and see that movie. Buy 2 tickets, even if you're going by yourself. Buy 2 tickets, right? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it was great yesterday watching him dress down the world. He dressed him down. He got exactly what he wanted. You knew I don't think he got it before he got there. I think he is just so.
I don't know, Richie. Things went so smooth. I love it when that president of Finland, he gave that interview and he says, Finland can defend itself without the United States. And then 10 minutes later, he totally backtracked.
Yeah, and Newsom was supposed to speak, and they told him you're not speaking. They canceled him out.
Did you see that? Did you see that the president had Gavin Newsom kicked out of the American? There's an American House there where the Americans go. They kicked President Trump kicked Gavin Newsom out. He showed up. They wouldn't let him in.
He was trolling.
The governor of California.
He was there a day before trolling. He was there a day before trolling Trump. I got a break, but I want to say this, okay? What Gavin Newsom did in Davos is unheard of. There has been a long American tradition that you don't criticize the president of the United States on foreign soil. Even Pelosi never did that. And Gavin Newsom, who looked like he was drunk the whole time, was trashing Trump the entire time. That is such an over-the-line move.
All right, Richie, take care. Appreciate the call. I do have the Scott Bessent audio. I'm gonna listen to it during the break to make sure that the Treasury Secretary didn't use any profanity. I'm sure he didn't. And then I'll play it after the break, all right? I got to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You know, when I first went to Life Imaging FLA, I had the heart scan and the cancer screening. And the night before, I was up all night. I've told you guys, I've had high cholesterol my entire life. Every doctor that I've had has told me, Brian, you're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a heart attack one day. And you've heard me mention many times with Jupiter Joe Thomas how much life insurance I have. I have more life insurance than the average person. And the reason I have so much life insurance is I just assumed I was going to have a heart attack and drop dead because I've had high cholesterol so long. I went over to Life Imaging FLA. I had the heart scan and the cancer screening. No cancer, no growths. But in my heart, no plaque buildup and no blockage. None. And I was really nervous, okay? And I went up there with a guy from the sales department from the radio station took me. And I was there with him. I was sweating. And I told him, I said, because when I get this scan, which, by the way, just took like 5 minutes, I might have to go right to the hospital. I had expected to be in the hospital getting surgery or stents put in or something because I have high cholesterol and all my doctors have told me. I had that heart scan, no plaque, no blockage. What a peace of mind. What a weight that is off of my shoulders and my entire family, my wife, my daughter, my in-laws, my mother. And I find myself doing a lot of things I didn't do before. You know, this past weekend, I got out the pressure cleaner and I pressure cleaned the sidewalk and everything around my house. I never would have done that. It was a hot day too on Saturday. It was a Saturday or Sunday, whatever day I did it. I would never have done that because the heat. I'd be, oh no, I'm gonna have. But because I know I have no plaque and no blockage, my heart, my arteries are clean. They're great. Everything is fine. I'm doing a lot of things I would not have even tried to do before. It's amazing. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. Back after this. Okay, I have the Scott Bessent audio, but I want to play it off air to make sure that it's there's no profanity for the radio, okay? So you guys will hear it twice.
I think it's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and the Davos is the perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking. Because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you need any further clarification.
Oh my goodness, that's brutal. Okay, we'll play when we get back. About 30 seconds. Okay. Oh man, that's pretty brutal. We're back. If you're on hold, stand by on Brian Steve Kane Show. Okay, I have the audio of Scott Bessent. You know, this is a brutal takedown. So Scott Bessent, he's having a press conference, and they ask him about Gavin Newsom, who's over in Davos trashing the president, half drunk. And this is our great openly gay. And, the reason I say, people ask, why do you keep saying he's openly gay? Because I want people to know that we've got the gays now, okay? Okay, so here's our openly gay Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. He's asked about Governor Gavin Newsom.
I think it's very, very ironic that, Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you need any further clarification.
Oh man, he is great. The guy from Jupiter that tipped me off about that. Thanks so much. That's great. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ryan from Georgia.
Hey, Georgia.
What's up, dude?
Not much, dude. You called me.
Well, I mean,
There we go. Get ready,
you're
Mike.
wearing the Trump 28 hat.
Correct.
I was curious. Like, do you really think that Trump could be president? Like getting rid of the 27th Amendment?
Could Trump win election in 2028? Absolutely.
Well, then you'd have to get rid of the 27th Amendment, right?
Well, the Constitution is filled with amendments. An amendment means there's been a change to the Constitution. So yeah, the Constitution could be amended. Absolutely. It's been amended, 27 times?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I think it's the 22nd Amendment, Mr. Constitution. I could be wrong.
No,
It doesn't matter.
27th is the one that says Trump can't be.
It actually says in the Constitution Trump can't be president for a third term. I didn't know. The Founding Fathers were psychic.
Well, the 27th Amendment says that, he can't be psychic.
Oh, that's also in the Constitution. Wow, they were really forward-thinking guys. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean,
tell me why. I'd like to know. Why you're a man, right? Why a man in America doesn't support President Trump? And don't say Epstein.
I'm a Democrat.
Oh my goodness. Why is a grown man a Democrat?
Well, I turned 18 in '93, and I had to sign up for selective service, and they said, "Are you Republican or Democrat?" And I'm like, "I don't really give a crap."
No, they didn't. I signed up for selective service when I turned 18. They don't ask party affiliation. They don't ask party affiliation when in selective service.
Are you sure about voting?
I had to register with selective service when I turned 18. They didn't ask me my party affiliation. Why are you really a Democrat?
How did you sign up for selective service and voting rights?
1989 was a long time ago when I turned 18. I don't remember. But I don't remember them asking for
wow.
Yeah.
So you were a senior when I was a freshman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you signed up.
So why, other than this signing up in 1993, why are you a Democrat today? Do you even know?
Because I don't want it. Because I don't want to change, and I want to be able to vote for the Democrat that I still believe in, not the fact.
Yeah. All right.
that the party
Give me a plank of the Democrat Party platform that makes you a Democrat. What are they proposing that you support?
Fetterman. Fetterman.
But you're in Georgia. You're in Georgia, right? He's in Pennsylvania. You can't vote for Fetterman.
Yeah, that's because the Kamala Harris Democratic, party.
Let me ask you, when you were in high school, hold on. Let me ask you this.
Did I get to vote for her? Did I get to vote for her?
No, you didn't. She skipped the primaries.
Yeah, I would have voted for Fetterman, not that bitch.
Okay, all right, there we go. Oh my goodness. All right, Mike. Didn't I tell you to be ready, Mike? You know, when he was in high school, when he was a freshman and I was a senior, what I was going to ask him is if he took the short school bus to school. Obviously, he did. All right, now, if you're on hold, hang in there as we wait for the delay to re-engage. Although that word is a borderline one, still, it's on the dump list just for us. It's not one of the big words, but I guess just, it's one we choose. I wanted to play this. This is, we did get Greenland. The president got his Greenland. This is President Trump. And he's going through with CNBC the whole deal at this point with what he wants to release. Listen, this is the president with CNBC in Davos. We got Greenland, and he's telling us all about it.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The market 600 points, getting back a lot of some of the nervousness we had in the last couple of days. The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like we have pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal...
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it down the line. But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some other people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able to make.
Where does Denmark, did they weigh in on what they want, what they would agree to?
Well, I assume they did because he very much represents, he's a strong leader. Mark, Rutte. And he, I assume he's been speaking to them. He's been speaking to all of them.
Are mineral rights involved? Is ownership involved? Did the Golden Dome sway people?
I don't want to say yet, but...
The Golden Dome was very compelling today when you talked about that.
Yeah, the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in the Golden Dome. And they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's...
Forever.
Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
That's staggering.
That's better than a 99-year.
This is what, 2 hours after.
It's better than the Obama deal with the famous Iran nuclear deal with a 9-year deal. No, this is forever. This is a long term.
Well, forever. So we got Greenland, and it's a deal forever. That is. I can't wait till we get all the details of it. More and more is going to be leaking out throughout the day in the next few days. This is amazing. All right, let's go back to our phones. Although no, not you. If you're on hold, stand by. The United States getting Greenland has obviously triggered some people in the liberal audience. The Hate America First crowd. They just. They can't handle the winning, man. They can't handle the winning. I want to take a moment to talk about Mike Lindell. You get huge savings up to 80% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at mypillow.com. And, Mike Lindell's been with us for a long time. And, he became a sponsor of the program because he followed me, and I didn't even know it. He was a follower and a listener of mine, and I had saw that he had followed me on X, and so we reached out to him, and he's been with us ever since. And I tell this to Mike Lindell, I live in a MyPillow home, and the first time I said that to him, he's like, "What do you mean?" And I went through everything I have. I said, I have all your pillows, I have the sheets, I have the mattress topper, the mattress, I have the towel, I got everything. When Mike Lindell says the MyPillow towels that actually work, you have never used a towel like a MyPillow towel before. They are spectacular. Huge discount with our promo code Kane. They actually dry your body off. Other towels, they just spread the water around. Everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality. Up to 80% off top MyPillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. You can also order toll-free 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour, come back with more calls and much more to share. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back after this. All right.
Since getting our harvest.
All right, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly.
Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts, too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com.
Okay, we've got less than a minute, guys. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the air. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. This was Anderson Cooper on CNN panicking yesterday. Listen about, by the way, if you're just tuning in, Trump got us Greenland. If you're just tuning in, we got Greenland.
So, Maggie, is it clear to you what, if anything, President Trump is getting from Denmark and Greenland that the U.S. doesn't already have de facto control over?
No, and look, Anderson, we don't know the answers to these questions. As Caitlin was saying earlier, there's a lot left unsaid. The president didn't answer this. His aides are pointing to his social media post about it, which we've seen over and over in this administration, that his aides are recognizing that there's not much benefit in getting ahead of him or speaking out of turn because they might end up having to eat whatever comment that is. But yes, as of now, based on what they're talking about, it looks as if they're talking about something that is already in existence. And in fact, the U.S. used to have a greater military presence in Greenland. It got scaled back after the Cold War. And so, there are strategic reasons. Again, you have heard many people say this over many weeks now, months now, since the president came back into office and has been talking about this, because of global warming, because of the opening up of the Arctic waters north of Greenland, that this might make strategic sense.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's the way he is going about it, which is saying things, insulting NATO allies, saying, I can't imagine they would come to our defense. The Article 5 was invoked once, and it was after 9/11. And someone who is from New York, it's surprising that they don't recall that. And so he is speaking about this completely in transactional terms. And you can see that this is not over. I understand that Mark Rutte is trying to calm things down, but European leaders are still very alarmed, and leaders in Denmark have been very alarmed for weeks and weeks now before this really became much more public.
Okay, now it shows you how ridiculous CNN's analysis is on anything, okay? She's wrong about everything. There is a deal. It doesn't matter what Europe thinks, okay? The deal's done. We got Greenland, and it's happening. But this is two things here. And one maybe you guys can help me with in a moment. I got a question for you guys. I've noticed this with the left. They keep saying, because of global warming, the Arctic's melting and ships can pass places they couldn't pass before. There is no global warming. Go talk to the Obamas. They bought a massive mansion, okay, on the ocean, up north. And if everything's melting, why is Denmark trying to hold on to Greenland? If it's melting away, why are they holding on to it so much? Okay, no, there's no global warming. There's no climate change. It's a big urban liberal legend. It's a lie. Okay, but you notice how they're all grabbing onto this. And the reason they're going with that stupid talking point that now because of global warming we need it. It's because they're trying to somehow make it their thing, right? And they're all into global warming. But this is what I want to ask you about today. Later this morning. Luckily, it's been scheduled long after I go off the air. But later today, Jack Smith is testifying in front of Congress. This is going to be on television, isn't it? I think this one's going to be televised. I don't watch too many of these congressional hearings. This one I'll watch. Jack Smith is a crazy person. Out of all of the people they could get to break into Mar-a-Lago, Jack Smith's wife produced a documentary about Michelle Obama. So these are insiders. This guy should be arrested. And let me tell you, the Republicans, what I really want to hear from the Republicans questioning, you know how these hearings go, right? The Republicans are going to yell at him and ask good questions, and the Democrats are going to thank him for his service. This guy is as crooked gets. Remember, Jack Smith, who led the break-in of Mar-a-Lago, brought with him a safecracker to break into the president's safe. They tossed Barron's room. They tossed Melania's closet and drawers and her dresser. And they threw the contents of the president's desk on the floor. Remember all of that? We've never seen the video of this. I've wanted to see the video. I don't know I'd like to know what happened to the video. Because I remember when the break-in happened, Eric said he saw some of it on video that they had. I guess they could access. He was in New York, if I remember correctly, and they could see it from the security cameras there. And to do a break-in on a home of a president of the United States, you have to be a special kind of sicko, and that really was an act of desperation. What they broke into Mar-a-Lago for, and the reason they brought the safecracker to break into the president's safe, somehow this psychotic Jack Smith got it into his head that everything they were looking for, right? You see all these boxes stacked all over the place. That was their personal stuff. Those weren't classified documents in all those boxes they show in Mar-a-Lago. They had just moved back to Mar-a-Lago, and it was all their stuff. But what Jack Smith had gotten in his head was that inside the president's personal safe at Mar-a-Lago was a binder. A binder. Remember, they used to make fun of the Democrats, of Mitt Romney, for talking about binders. But Jack Smith had got it into his psychotic brain that President Trump had a binder in his personal safe at Mar-a-Lago, and it had all the classified documents about the illegal spy operation that Obama set in place with Comey and Brennan and Clapper against President Trump. That's why that was the whole reason for that break-in. And they broke into the safe, and the only thing they found in there was the president's personal passport. Remember? Now, and I hope that they get into that. And remember, you can go to prison for lying to Congress. Democrats told us that during the Autopin administration. So, you know, these congressional hearings they're difficult to watch because the Democrats are just going to continually thank him for his service and his decades of dedication and his blah, blah, blah. So when I watch these hearings, I'll pause it. I'll pause it for a while on the TV, and then I'll come back. Very few do I watch live, but this one I'll watch live. And I really hope that the Republicans ask some questions. There was one hearing, I can't remember who they were questioning and what hearing this was, but there was one hearing where I think it was during President Trump's first term, and I can't remember what hearing it was. Maybe some of you remember, but the Republicans did something very smart. They picked one Republican to ask all the questions. All the Republicans yielded their time to one person, and they asked all the questions the whole time. That was amazing and perfect. I would love them to do that, or at least be organized, and instead of making speeches, drill him down about that binder, the safecracker, the break-in, tossing Barron's room, tossing Melania's underwear drawer and closet, and all of that. It was such a violation, you know? And as opposed to making speeches, a lot of these Congress people, we're in an election year, so Congress people, a lot of them like to make it, congressional hearings, campaign speeches, and they have a tendency to do that, and I hope this isn't one of them. But Jack Smith is an evil person. He's not the only evil person, but he is an evil person. And he wasn't even legally the special counsel. He had an illegal appointment. So everything he did was 100% illegal. Everything he did. And, when you see him, and I remember the few times we saw him at press conferences, he did not look like a sane man, did he? He looked like a complete lunatic. So we'll see how he behaves today on television. A guy like this, he's so arrogant. And you got to remember, Jack Smith doesn't view himself as a crazy man or a criminal. He views himself as one of the greatest American living patriots. He really does, which tells you how crazy he is. And he's not accustomed to being questioned. He's accustomed to Democrats being around him, telling him how wonderful he is. So these Democrats, will do that. But if the Republicans handle the hearing right, they might be able to trigger him. Jack Smith, to me, the few times I've seen him, he's got a short fuse and a hot temper. And he doesn't like to be questioned. He's a lot like Peter Strzok. Him and Peter Strzok, they're like brothers in personality. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back after this. Hey there, it's Brian. Okay,
Hey, Brian.
Hey there, we have less than a minute, so I'm just going to keep you on the line here, and we'll be back shortly. Okay.
Hey, I'm on the Bluetooth driving, Brian. Is it clear?
It's okay. Yeah, you might have to talk a little louder, but we got 10 seconds. It's better off the Bluetooth, but if we only have 5 seconds, so we're coming back.
As I'm driving my kid to school this morning, I had a thought. You know, the big beautiful bill changed a lot of things, and you want to make sure you have an accountant that can take advantage of all the new changes. One of them being, and I haven't touched on yet, the $1,000 Trump accounts. So if you're a new parent out there, and as a new parent, child was born after January 1st, 2025, this administration basically said that they're willing to give a free $1,000 to an IRA style account. And basically the only way to access this free money, if you qualify, is to file your taxes and file the correct forms to make sure that you actually get it. A lot of people don't understand exactly how it works, but the simple way of explaining it is your accountant should be able to add one more form onto your 1040, and you will instantly create the account. The point of the account is to fight inflation in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people have had this thought, you know, how much was the price of a house when I was younger compared to when my parents were younger and compared to their parents? And it seems to me like there's been a big jump in inflation. The dollar is not as strong as it was yesterday, and the only way to fight that is to invest at a higher rate than what the current inflation rate is.
Mm-hmm.
And this tool is one of them that could help you get an edge, help your children get an edge. If you did the math, if you put $1,000 from the day they were born and they had access to it when they're 18, that free $1,000 can change someone's life.
Oh yeah, by the time they're 18 years old, they're going to be wealthy. Maybe they'll be able to buy their first home for cash.
Of course. I want my children to have an edge up on everybody. Not only will I be investing in that, I also have Florida prepaid college and a handful of other things that help them.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you're having that thought, how do I help my kids in the future? This is free.
Yeah,
and
that's
if your
right.
accountant doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I think you should call me now.
Yeah, and I've been hearing from listeners that have called you up. You're working on their taxes. They've met with you. They've talked to you on the phone. And people are just blown away at what you're able to do for them. It is amazing.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm here. I started this business to help people. And if I can't help you, then I'm in the wrong business.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, when you're calling me, the first thought I have is, okay, how can I help this person in any way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jamie Levac here at Swift Tax can, of course, help you with your federal taxes. He's located here in South Florida, but he can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. And not just your federal taxes, your state taxes, your local taxes. If you're a business owner, he can help you with your payroll taxes and business taxes, even your bookkeeping. Give him a call. Make sure that you get all the deductions that you are entitled to under the new tax code with the big, beautiful bill. And also make sure that you get the largest return possible. And Jamie Levac of Swift Tax will make sure that happens. And also, with Jamie at Swift Tax, you might be able to get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. You can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. All right, Jamie, you have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
All right, take care. All right, now I wanted to share this. Another despicable person, Eric Holder, came out on MLK Day And he's in a panic, Eric Holder. Eric Holder, you know, he was Attorney General under Obama, and he was Deputy Attorney General with Bill Clinton when Janet Reno was Attorney General, and he was the one who did all those scummy pardons. Remember all those scummy pardons that Bill Clinton was doing at the end? The Mark Rich pardons and all those. Remember it was being suggested that people were buying pardons from President Clinton? Eric Holder was the guy doing that. And then he went on to, can you believe this? After he was Deputy Attorney General during the G.W. Bush years, Eric Holder was in private law practice. You know who his clients were? Al-Qaeda. He was representing Al-Qaeda terrorists. Yeah, the people that brought down the buildings. Yeah. Eric Holder was representing Al-Qaeda terrorists at Guantanamo Bay. Class act, huh? And then Obama made him Attorney General. But here he is on MLK Day in a panic.
Fearlessness. Now, the forces reshaping our country are testing not only our institutions, but our collective and individual capacity to defend the ideals of this nation. And these actions require from all of us, a clarity of purpose that is equal to the rising stakes. We are seeing a sustained effort to eradicate the Voting Rights Act. Mm-hmm. That is the crown jewel. That's the crown jewel of the civil rights movement and an essential part of Dr. King's legacy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to play any more of Eric Holder, but this Voting Rights Act, the reason the Voting Rights Act came in is because the Democrats were doing all these things to keep blacks from voting, okay? That's just the way it was. You know all this. I'm not going to go through the history of it. You know. Even if you're a liberal, you know, because that's all they talk about in American history. Those days are over. The days of having to have special districts in the South so African Americans can get elected, we don't need that anymore. That's, Byron Donalds. He's running for governor of Florida, and he's got my vote. He doesn't need some special district to win. Byron Donalds. There was a time when that was true, when you did need it, because the Democrats were doing all kinds of crazy things. But what's happened now with the Voting Rights Act and all the special districting, it's reverse discrimination against non-African Americans. And the Democrats have maintained power through these bizarre redistricting things they've done over the years. And they've been in power a lot longer than they should have been because of these things like Jasmine Crockett's district that no longer exist. So the time for all of these things, including affirmative action, which has been rebranded DEI, that era is over. We have achieved, they're talking about Martin Luther King. No one respects Martin Luther King more than me. You hear me reference Martin Luther King all the time. He's one of the greatest Americans that's ever lived. He did great work. And we've achieved the colorblind society. But these Democrats like Eric Holder, he's standing next to Al Sharpton. Jews were murdered in New York because of Al Sharpton. When he was fat and he used to dress like a pimp with the feather boa and the hat. Remember all those days? People forget what he was like, Al Sharpton, back in those days. Terrible person. And the Democrats know that they can only stay in power through all these bizarre districtings and acting. The 60s, man, that was 60 years ago. We're beyond that era now. We're in a colorblind society, and the Democrats are always trying to take us back into it because that's the only way that they can remain in power. If you needed the Voting Rights Act, Obama never would have been elected or reelected. When, President Obama, I didn't vote for him, but he was elected and reelected. You could say the first time was a fluke and people got excited, but he got reelected. When you have a black man elected and reelected as president, we've gone past the need of all these outdated things from the 50s and 60s. Sorry, Eric Holder. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB. How you doing?
All right.
Man, you're blinding me with those two old fossils. Just look at Al Sharpton's face. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Early in the morning. Hey, I wrote this down. Sometimes I don't read or write as much as I should. And this I call it the League of Peace. He called it the Board of Peace. I call it the League of Peace. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for that alone. Let's forget all the wars and everything else. To see that come to fruition now, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Trump not attend West Point?
Did Trump attend West Point? No.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people forgetting his background, why he knows so much about history and different presidents and so forth. So only 2 callers in the last year have, including yourself, of course, have mentioned Sun Tzu. I'm saying it right. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So to win the war, you have to already know that you're going to win the war without firing.
I got to tell you, you've lost me. But tomorrow's open phones. Call tomorrow. Maybe it'll be better. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's almost like he got on by accident. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Brian from Utah. How are you?
All right, Brian in Utah. What's on your mind?
Not much. I'm just, I suppose the topic of the day is Greenland, huh?
Well, yeah, we got our Greenland deal, and it's a permanent deal forever and ever, according to the President of the United States.
Where did you hear that?
The President of the United States on CNBC.
I mean, I have not heard anything official about that from...
Well, just because you haven't... I mean, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody here is there making noise, I mean, I'm sorry you're not up to date on what's going on.
I mean, so is there an official, like, what is the deal then?
They haven't released all of the details of it, but it involves areas of Greenland becoming official U.S. territory, part of the United States, and it's a permanent deal forever.
I mean, I haven't heard that.
Well, you're behind on the news, man. I'm sorry. You're hearing it now.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
But I mean, I'm checking like.
So you're not, but let's just assume that I'm telling you the truth, which I am. You have a problem with that?
But you're not.
No, I am.
I mean, I don't know why it's acceptable for. I mean, this is very reminiscent. If that's true, it's very reminiscent of Hitler demanding Sudetenland.
Really? Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
The Sudetenland. So, I mean, Hitler had this.
How did he get it? How did he get it? How did he get the Sudetenland? And by the way, where is Sudetenland?
Sudetenland is a border region that was part of Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm. And how did he get it? And how did he get it?
How did he get it? He got it through a treaty.
No, he did not. No, he sent the army in with tanks. He sent the army in with tanks.
No, that's
yes,
not true.
yes, it
That's
is
not
true.
at
It
all.
is true. Oh my goodness, what are they teaching you in
there was a
Utah?
conference-
What are they teaching you in Utah? Listen, I'm out of time. I got to take a break. But this is a place where people that know what's going on follow the news, get up to date, wake up, and call me back when you're informed. We'll be right back. I love these people. They didn't hear it. Okay, well, he's going to hear it when we get back. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll play this during the break, okay?
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The market, 600 points, getting back a lot of some of the nervousness we had in the last couple of days. The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like we have pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal...
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it down the line. But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some other people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able to make.
Where does Denmark, did they weigh in on what they want, what they would agree to?
Well, I assume they did because he very much represents, he's a strong leader. Mark, you know Mark, Rutte. And he, I assume he's been speaking to them. He's been speaking to all of them.
Are mineral rights involved? Is ownership involved? Did the Golden Dome sway people?
I don't want to say yet, but...
The Golden Dome was very compelling today when you talked about that.
Yeah, the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in the Golden Dome. And they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's...
Forever.
Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
That's staggering.
It's better than a 99.
This is what, 2 hours after.
It's better than the Obama deal with the famous Iran nuclear deal with a 9-year deal. No, this is forever.
It's forever. That's it. Now you know, Utah. Oh my goodness. All right, we're still in break for just over a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. Let's see here. What time? 1 minute. We'll be back, guys. 1 minute. I love these. All these liberals that have called today. They don't know what's going on. All right, stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, hey, Jay.
I was listening to you talk about Greenland. Do you realize Trump told everybody he was going to take Greenland by force, and that's when the stock market crashed, and he had to go back and retract himself again?
No, he talked about tariffs. He talked about tariffs. He said no force, and he said tariffs.
He talked about both. He talked about tariffs, and he talked about.
Well, the stock market's booming today. The stock market's booming now.
Right, and they're booming today because he had to retract what he said.
Do you own stocks?
He said,
do you own stocks? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We're not invading Greenland by force. Do you own stocks?
Right. He has it. Didn't he just say that?
You won't
last
even answer.
night?
Well, we don't have to. They gave it to us. We won the deal.
Nothing. Every country in the world is telling y'all, don't touch Greenland.
Well, we got it. We got it. The deal's done.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Keep telling yourself that.
That's not true.
Would it be a good? Yeah, it is true. The deal is done.
They said they hate us. They said they don't want us there.
Who doesn't want us there?
The people from Greenland.
Well, the people of Greenland don't run the people of Greenland don't run Greenland. The King of Denmark runs Greenland. So you're siding with a European king? Why are you? I thought aren't you a no kings guy? Why are you siding with the? Excuse me, Jay. Why are you siding with the King of Denmark?
Why are you telling me that Trump has made a deal when they said they don't want nothing to do with Trump?
They don't want nothing to do as a double negative, which means they want everything to do with Trump.
It doesn't matter, double negative. You know exactly what I mean. He's trying to take.
It's not up to the people of Greenland. It's not up to Greenland.
Yes, it is.
They're not an independent country. They are ruled by. They're ruled by Denmark, the King of Denmark. They're ruled by the Kingdom of Denmark.
Why are the other countries backing him then?
It's a done deal. It was made at Davos yesterday.
Okay, I bet you I'm gonna call you back in a couple of days and prove that you're a liar.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Oh, man. The liberal callers today are gaslighting themselves. Have you noticed that? Gaslighting is something you normally do to others, not to yourself. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing better than these liberals I'm talking to today.
Yeah, this is Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
You know, Trump was right with that Green New Scam, because I remember I said it before, the weekly reader said that Manhattan would be underwater by now.
Yes.
Guess what? Number one. Number two, he will get Greenland, and we will have it. And it's going to not only defend Europe with the Golden Dome, but Greenland and Canada.
Joan, we've got it. They made the deal. We've got Greenland.
I know, but the thing is, that dome is gonna be protecting so many countries.
That's right.
It's unbelievable.
Especially Jay from Jersey, because he's closer. He's up north. We're in Florida. So he's closer to Russia than us.
Yeah, he is. But anyway, they're
in denial. They're in denial is what it is. All this success. They can't handle the success of Trump, and they're really in denial. I appreciate the call. All right, they really are. Gaslighting, I don't know. A lot of people have a hard time understanding gaslighting. Gaslighting is when you're trying to convince someone that something's not true, even though it's in front of them. And every single Democrat I've talked to today has been trying to convince themselves that there's no Trump deal. No matter how many sound clips I play, they say it didn't happen. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Charles from Stewart.
Charles and Stewart. What's up from MAGA Martin County?
Hey, you mentioned about the Dems using global warming.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider myself a naturalist, not an environmentalist.
Okay.
But anyway, three points really interesting, okay? When the illegals came through the southern border and trashed that whole Rio Grande Valley, that's a lot of bird nesting sites, and it's kind of environmentally sensitive. A lot of wildlife lives there. Okay, so they trashed that, right? They didn't say nothing about that. And I haven't heard one environmental group say anything about that. And with all these art, they were destroying art over in Europe and the statues here. I haven't heard one word from the art community. And the feminists, who used to be very vocal, extremely vocal, I don't hear nothing from them about this, men's and women's sports. It's
in
so
fact,
amazing to me.
when that boxer was beating up women at the Olympics, the feminists were defending a man beating up women at the Olympics. Remember that?
Yeah, can you believe that? They've gone so far that they really don't care about anything. I mean, it's just amazing. So they don't give a horse's patoot about the environment. Otherwise, they would have done something about that Rio Grande Valley. And I've been studying wildlife for years. And when I saw that happen, I was like, what are you talking about global climate? What about the wildlife at the Rio Grande Valley?
That's true.
It's just amazing.
Let me ask you a question about Stewart, to our listeners in Stewart. Has Stewart decided they're not going to have the Brightline station? Is that like a done deal? No Brightline station for Stewart? Is that like settled?
Well, they were going with it, and the last I heard, they nixed it. So,
oh man,
I would have liked it.
I ride that Brightline. I've taken it to Orlando. I take it to Miami. It's awesome.
Is it expensive?
It's not cheap, but you don't want it to. But that's a good thing. Because the people you get on board are not. It's not. You don't want to be like you're not in Broward or Palm Beach or anything, so you don't know the Tri-Rail. You go on the Tri-Rail and there's people on there that homeless people. If you go on Metro Rail in Miami, the homeless people. You don't want it to be like the bus. Plus, if you sit in premium, alcohol's included.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
how refreshing.
I took the Brightline. I took the Brightline to Miami from Boca. I had 4 screwdrivers there and 4 back.
Wow, you're a real man.
I didn't have to drive.
No, that's true. That's true. This thing about was it Jack Smith? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Jack Smith. Okay. Okay. When I came home one night and saw that the president's home was being raided, I couldn't believe it because that was the first in history. Like I said, I've never seen true hatred in my life till Trump beat Hillary and Kamala. It's just, I don't know why they got so obsessed. I think they were the biggest sore losers. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
But
I love that night at the Javits Center with all the women. Why? Yeah. That was great.
It's just incredible. Like I said, truth is stranger than fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a good day.
All right. Take care. All right. Yes, Stewart didn't want that Brightline station because they don't want people going to Stewart. And they knew that if the Brightline station's there, a lot of people would go. Stewart's awesome. I love Stewart. If they had the Brightline there, I'd be there all the time. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve from Boca.
Hey, Steve.
Hello, Brian. Good to hear from you. I love your show.
Thank you.
Know that. But please, I want to make a point, and I need to convince you because, and when I tell you what I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm a straight shooter. You are a very powerful voice. I've seen you on television on Newsmax. You are an influencer bar none, and I'm saying that because I need to convince you of the following idea.
Now here comes the but, people. Here comes the but. He propped me up.
No buts. There's no buts. No buts at all. We're on the same side. You're the biggest Trump guy in the world, and I'm number 2 right behind you. So that Davos speech yesterday was his greatest speech ever, and he deserves tremendous credit. But here's what I'm going to tell you. We need to win in 2028.
No doubt.
And the candidate that we should have, and I know you're on the J.D. Vance bandwagon, and I'm going to tell you that please let me make the point. I'm going to tell you that because J.D. Vance, and he's a wonderful man with a wonderful story, his history of his life is very, he's a success. He's the American success story, and that's great. But he's very linked to Donald Trump. And while the media may like Trump's policies, they hate Trump.
Correct.
And while independents may like Trump's policies, they don't like Trump. The man who we should put up in 2028 has the characteristics of Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. And he's phenomenal.
Marco Rubio.
And that man is Scott Bessent.
Scott Bessent?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he'd be our first gay president, openly gay at least. Yeah, no, I like Scott Bessent.
Yeah, just think about it for a
minute. But I don't know. I've been thinking the same thing. I've been watching him, and I like him. He's very, very good. Yeah, I don't know too much about his past. So, I don't know.
He's phenomenal.
I don't know his history.
Phenomenal.
I will agree with you that my pick, is Marco Rubio. And by the way, J.D. Vance has already picked Marco Rubio to be the godfather of his new child. His wife's pregnant.
I know that. But here's the point.
But here, I'm not disagreeing with you. And J.D. Vance is new to Trump, and he's untried. I mean, he is. He's very good. He's good in debate. He handles the press. He handles these punk kids at Turning Point and everything. I can't be on what should. It looks like he's the guy. It's been decided that he's going to be.
I'm going to tell you what I think is a long way between now and 2028. But the two areas you need to convince are independents and the media. And Scott Bessent, because he has such a calm demeanor and a wonderful delivery. An attorney once told me, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Well, we need to know more about his background. I mean, was he always openly gay, or did he used to have a wife or something? I don't know. I don't know anything about his background, so it matters. You got to have a squeaky clean background. Listen, I gotta run for the break, but I don't disagree with you. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, I appreciate it. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh, man. Guys, have you not called Coastal Weight Loss Secret yet? This is the year that you're going to keep your New Year's resolution and not only lose the weight, but keep it off. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, there's no shots, no pills, no injections. I know shots and injections are the same thing, but I want to emphasize it. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to exercise all the time. You can eat foods you normally eat, and you don't starve yourself either. And guess what? It works. Not only did I lose all that weight, I've kept it off. Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight no matter where you're located in the United States. Also, this is just so amazing about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They are with you every step of the way. They are with you every step of the way in your weight loss journey. And while I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, I ended up losing over 35 pounds. If you want to lose 235 pounds or 335 pounds, they can help you, and it works. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Back after this. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Hello?
Hey there, we have less than a minute. So I'll put you on hold. I'll be back with you shortly. Hold on. If you're on hold, hang in there. That's William Youngerman with the Gold Report. Fifteen seconds. All right, we're back. It is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Metals are holding their own very nicely after gold's huge rise over the last 3 days. Gold up as much as $280 in the first 3 days of this week. Yesterday, gold closing at $4,831.40. That was up $69. And at one point, we were up as high as $4,889. Just $111 or so away from $5,000 gold. Silver up was down $1.49 yesterday, closing at $92.98 the ounce, while platinum was up $7 at $2,483, and palladium was down $33 at $1,824 the ounce. Platinum at one point got as high as $2,557. Thursday today, gold trading in a range of $47.72 to $48.39 so far. And right now, gold at $4,813, down $18.40. Not bad considering the rise for the first 3 days. Silver up 7 cents at $93.05, staying nicely above that $90 support level. Platinum up $34 at $2,517 the ounce, and palladium up $18 at $1,842. So the drive to $5,000 gold is still going on, and I think we might still see it before the week is out.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about in a while is fractional gold. You know, because a lot of people that aren't into the metals or may think, you know, because we give the price out by an ounce, may think, well, that's so high, I don't have enough for an ounce. But fractional gold's a great option. Can you talk a little bit about that, William Youngerman?
Yes, indeed. We have many of the coins from the different countries like South Africa, Canada, the United States that all issue 1/10, 1/4, and 1/2 ounce gold fractional coins, which are very reasonably priced, and we have them in stock for immediate delivery. And these are one of the nicest ways that you can start accumulating gold without having to put over $5,000 into your first investment. So start buying, get started, and once you get started on owning precious metals, you'll just get hooked on it because you'll realize it's tangible and it's the only real money in the world.
It's real. It is real. And you know, a cool thing about fractional gold too is that, you know, if you need some money for something, you don't have to sell a whole ounce.
That's right.
You know, so there's all kinds of benefits in those 10th ounce, quarter ounce, and half ounce coins from the major mints. They're just as beautiful as the full ounce, and you know, and it adds up real quick once you start doing it. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in. His shop's in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road. on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. His number is toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And online, you'll find both his address and phone number, WilliamYungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care, take care. All right, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Charlie from Palm City, Florida.
Hey, Charlie, what's up?
Good morning. The Donald Trump, one of your listeners asked, was Donald Trump an attendee of the West Point? No, New York Military Academy. That's where he went to school.
Yes.
Because I wrestled against them.
Okay.
Upstate New York. All right. God, I love your show.
Yeah, you know what? I have a shirt. I have a T-shirt that I wear quite a bit. If you ever watch me on YouTube, and it's President Trump's high school graduation photo, and he's wearing the uniform from the military school.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm listening on my cell phone.
Awesome.
And that was Cousin Charles from Stewart.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. All right. Take care. Take care. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
So I called in a couple days ago regarding the graffiti on my neighbor's garage door regarding Greenland.
Yes.
Trump, we're all going to die. So today I drive by and they've got it all covered up. So I'm not sure if somebody had written out that or it's because Trump made the deal.
Yeah.
Anyways, I say I love JD, but I say Rubio would be my pick.
Well, I'll tell you, I agree with you about Rubio, but, here's the thing. And I like JD, and he's very impressive. However, there's a long history of both parties. When someone gets the nomination because it's their turn, they lose.
Yeah.
Mondale, McCain, Bob Dole, when Hillary Clinton. So when you have somebody that gets the nomination because they're next in line, that doesn't work out so well most of the time. It really doesn't. It's.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing. My guess is it's going to be JD and Marco. JD Vance just announced yesterday that Marco Rubio is going to be the godfather of his new child. Marco's from Florida. JD's from Ohio. Those are both states Republicans got to win. And if he is JD's vice president, Marco and I are the same age. There's still plenty of time for him to be president. Marco.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. I like the team together. The other thing is, I'm hoping that they clear Derek Chauvin's name one of these days.
Good luck
over
with
the
that.
George Floyd case.
Good luck. That they're going to hold on to that.
Hopefully,
You know what it would take? It would take Mike Lindell becoming the governor of Minnesota and pardoning him.
I have not heard anything about Mike Lindell being governor except from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard somebody else was running. I'm not sure, but
that lunatic lieutenant governor. Oh no, she's running for the Senate. In a normal year, not too good, but this is a good year to be running for Republican governor of Minnesota with the Leering Center and all this scandal.
Yeah.
I mean, things are, and Mike Lindell has a lot, a lot of people in Minnesota are pretty fed. My wife has some family that live in Minnesota, and they're so fed up with the Somali for years. The Somali thing is new to us, but not to Minnesotans.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens. That would be.
But
awesome.
the Derek Chauvin thing is something we want to stay away from because I know Ben Shapiro brings it up all the time. The left keep bringing up this pardon of Derek Chauvin as a thing to try to get us to lose black voters, and that's a state issue. He was convicted in state court. And we don't want to get involved becoming advocates for Derek Chauvin. That's a sure way to do. There's no positive outcome for us becoming Derek Chauvin advocates.
That may be true, but to let somebody rot in jail over something that they were not responsible for is baloney.
There's nothing. That's a state issue in Minnesota. He's convicted in the state courts.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that something can be done for him because that's it was total crap from the beginning, and
you know what? I bet you Derek Chauvin, at the time at least, was a Democrat, a cop in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
You know he was a liberal Democrat his whole life, and look what they did. They threw him under the bus.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
They had a yep.
All right, Joe Ellen, take care. Joe Ellen from Fort Lauderdale. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Yesterday I heard the nicest, most polite threat I've ever heard, and that was Trump's 8 words. You can say no, and we will remember. And I think not that the epiphany was needed at that moment, because I think this deal was done as soon as Trump was elected. It was just a matter of talking to these people. But, Denmark, asks itself, if Europe is attacked, if we're attacked, where do we send the sled dogs? I think it was at that moment when they were like, okay, boss man, daddy, how do we just get along here? Because this is just a win. It's a win for everybody.
Well, my favorite part yesterday at the Davos speech of President Trump, when he was talking about Greenland, is when he said that Denmark surrendered to the Nazis 6.5 hours after the war started. 6.5 hours. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yep, they got the sled dogs. I mean, this is just it was laughable, so much of it, but it was always going to happen. I mean, Doc, when he called in, in all fairness to the poor man, not in spirit, of course, but he was, as far as knowing the exact details of the deal. Yeah, no, we don't know that. Other than the fact that we're going to be there forever, there's a part of the deal I can tell you 100% for sure. But it's just everybody.
No, there are going to be areas. What we know is there are going to be parts of Greenland that are going to become sovereign U.S. territory. We don't know what parts these are or how big they'll be or if it'll be continuous. We don't know. But parts of Greenland will be U.S. territory.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a territory. Listen, Greenland also, knowing Trump, those people are going to share in profits from all this stuff, all the good things that happen there. But the most important thing is that China and Russia don't, recognize it, that they have the perception, the reality of that it's U.S. sovereignty, it's U.S. territory, possession, and you don't get to come.
That's a big difference. Having U.S. territory is it's a different thing. And by the way, Denmark, do you know the Nazis, the Germans occupied part of Greenland throughout most of the Second World War. And a lot of people don't know that. Denmark has not done their job. Their army's only 5,000 men and women, and how much of it is just ceremonial, right? Come on.
Yeah, it's basically going to be a territory, a protectorate, a forever. But at a minimum, we're going to, the U.S. flag, Russia and China are going to look at it as it's U.S. dirt, and we dare not go there. And that's what really needs to happen, because Denmark being there, that's kind of like a little poodle trying to defend against the.
What is Denmark famous for? What is the big thing from Denmark? Every country, France has champagne, right, and cheese. What's Denmark famous for?
Well, probably sled dogs, or I can't.
I don't know. When I think of sled dogs, I think of Alaska.
Yeah, I think they might have. I don't know, Brian. Denmark's famous for surrendering to the Germans.
There you go. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, okay.
They're quick on their feet.
That's good. Quick on their feet. 6.5 hours, whole war. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, they surrendered faster than Denmark. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian. How are you today?
30 seconds.
I have to tell you, Brian, this deal is the art of the deal on steroids. Anybody who thinks that Donald Trump is not one of the greatest negotiators and closers of all time is sadly mistaken. If you think about the last month, Brian, he settled Venezuela, and now he settled Greenland.
That's right.
The tactical moves in this are incredible, not just for the oil and the gas, but also with Greenland, the location. I mean, these are anybody says these aren't brilliant moves, I better take another look at these deals that are going down.
Absolutely.
Fabulous deals. Yeah.
And it happened so quick. I'm curious, do you think that Trump had the deal before Davos, or did he make it there? It happened so quick.
I think it was I think they had an understanding, and this was just a matter of closing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy I don't think he was coming back home unless he closed that deal.
Well, listen, I'm looking at the clock. I'm out of time for the day.
Okay, Brian.
Now, listen, tomorrow's Friday. That means open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday's show, the show preps up to you guys. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. That's tomorrow. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. What a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless Greenland. All right, we're clear. There's a couple things before I go, that I want to share with you guys. I do want to play this again, because this is President Trump outlining the deal to CNBC.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The market, 600 points, getting back a lot of some of the nervousness we had in the last couple of days. The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like we have pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal...
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it down the line. But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some other people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able to make.
Where does Denmark, did they weigh in on what they want, what they would agree to?
Well, I assume they did, because he very much represents, he's a strong leader. Mark, Rutte. And he, I assume he's been speaking to them. He's been speaking to all of them.
Are mineral rights involved? Is ownership involved? Did the Golden Dome sway people?
I don't want to say yet, but...
The Golden Dome was very compelling today when you talked about that.
Yeah, the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in the Golden Dome. And they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's... Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
That's staggering.
That's better than a 99-year-old.
This is what, 2 hours after...
It's better than the Obama deal with the famous Iran nuclear deal with a 9-year deal. No, this is forever. This is a long term.
Well, it's forever. A forever deal. And there's another clip or two I want to share before we go. Let me pull this up. Hold on. This is our incredible Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Florida's own Marco Rubio.
Because the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is someone who is not limited by what others say is possible or what others say is impossible. He's not limited by some of the things that have happened in the past, and he's willing to talk to or engage with anyone in the interest of peace, always putting the American people and our national security first, but understanding that in the world that we share with so many others, peace is paramount to all of us. Because the president...
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he look like the president up there, Marco Rubio? Don't you guys think he looks very president? I'd be very happy with Marco Rubio as the president. There's no getting around it. If you're new to my program, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. You'll love the show. Anytime I'm in the studio, I am taking live calls. I'm here every morning, and I'm here most afternoons as well, even on the weekends. And when I'm in the studio, I do take live calls. Tomorrow, I'll be at the radio station, not my home studio here, but I'll be taking live calls from the radio station. And if you could take the link to the program and share on all your social media and invite your friends and followers to check out the show, that would be awesome. You guys can join the Brian Craig Show marketing team, and you can do that just by sharing the program link on your socials. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you next time. Take care, guys.